Can the Star Wars franchise learn to let go? Constantine 2 is really happening. Denis Villeneuve goes back to Arrakis for one last job, and director Isaac Florentine calls in to discuss his new film, Hounds of War.
Oh, it's time for class.
Class is in session!
Roll call! Bueller?
I'm gonna be late for class.
Bueller?
Am I hallucinating here? Just what in the hell do you think you're doing?
I'm late for class.
You are mine now. You belong to me.
Did you study for the test?
No more complaining. No more Mr. Kimblett to go to the bathroom. Nothing. There is no bathroom.
Hello, classmates, and welcome to another episode of Middle Class Film Class. I'm your host for today, Joseph.
I'm Peter.
No Tyler over there. And
Is that Rust Cole?
I guess it is.
A fan interpretation of how cool Rust actually looks in Tyler's head. That's what he looks like all the time.
That is, I think, taped to the ceiling of Tyler's room.
It's above his bed.
Yeah. He's got a waifu pillow of Rust Cole.
Yeah. Yeah, it does not surprise me at all.
Would not put it past him.
No.
Welcome, everyone, on YouTube Live and otherwise. And, of course, the OG classmates listening in podcast land.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just me and old Pete over here.
That's right. Just the two of us.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't mean to call you old Pete.
That's okay. You can call me old Pete. I know I'm the old one of the group. That's okay. Pop.
Yeah. And
Brianna likes to call me that when I screw up technology.
oh, I thought it was like her version of like daddy.
No, sir. That's Pedro.
Okay. But yeah, here we are. How was the week?
Looks good. Yeah, my cousin's visiting Jeremy. He's from San Diego. He's the one that lives on a boat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's visiting up here. My niece is, I guess technically his niece is turning 1 today. So we got a little family get together tomorrow. So he's visiting.
Okay.
He's sleeping on this couch right here.
Oh, the very one behind me.
Yes, the one.
Slept in the studio.
That's right. Yeah, I put him on mic last night because he has a crippling fear of being recorded, audio and video. We got a little drunk.
Okay.
And then I was like, hey, come sit right here, right in front of the camera.
Yeah.
And he's looking at the screen like, this This is terrifying. This is what we call exposure therapy.
Literally, you put on all the lights and everything.
The whole shebang. It was funny.
Must have been overwhelming.
Yeah, he was. Wow, he was a little soused.
Oh, okay.
So he's like, okay.
Soften the blow a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, no Tyler over there. He's God knows where he is. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
And the life he lives.
He's repairing a sprinkler system or something.
He's a landscaper now.
Yeah,
I guess
he's no longer delivering packages. He's
started a business.
yeah. He got a sprinkler tool. Went to Home Depot. Asked the guys for advice.
Yeah.
He's like, is this a 45-degree angle or 180? I'm not sure. Please help me. I'm way over my head.
Well, he'll figure it out.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have a super exciting show.
Yeah.
To get to.
I can't wait. Let's get to it.
Yeah. Now's the time for Gavin Chatter.
That's right.
Find some charity, ye lad. Now's the time for Gavin Chatter.
Gavin Chatter movie news, and this week movie interviews.
Yes.
A little rhyme for you.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we have a director of Isaac Florentine.
Yeah.
Of the new up and coming. I don't know if it's actually been released yet.
No, it's coming out on Friday. So to get them on here. So we have joining us on the show today is the director of the brand new action drama from XYZ Films, starring Robert Patrick, Rana Mitra, and Frank Grillo, called Hounds of War. It's out on video and demand this coming Friday, the 20th. We have Isaac Florentine. How's it going, Isaac? How are you, man?
Very good.
Yes. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful. Good to see you, man. How are you?
Very good.
Yeah. Where you zooming in from?
Florida.
Florida.
Florida. Jewel of the East Coast. Is that your permanent residence out there?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And then I can't really see behind you that stack. Are those records or that physical media? That wall of stuff behind you? Yeah.
Martial arts books and magazines since, I started collecting in 1971, 72.
Wow.
There's some DVDs.
Oh, very cool.
And there's a here and a guitar and little banjos in the
Wow.
Oh yeah, dope. I collect guitars as well. I love it. That's cool. So you bleed martial arts. You've been collecting forever, and your catalog is primarily, fight-based stuff, action-based stuff. You've worked in the Undisputed franchise, the Power Rangers franchise, the Ninja franchise, and then now you have this Frank Grillo movie, Hounds of War.
Yes, correct.
Yes. How was the filming that? Because I know it was set in Malta. For the people who haven't seen the trailer for it yet, it's a beautiful looking movie, and I think the features and like the setting of it is just a huge benefit for it. How was filming that?
There isn't an easy movie. If somebody will tell you it's an easy movie or easy scene or whatever, easy, there's always challenges.
Yeah.
Or opportunities to overcome challenges, as I see it. It was difficult to get to find the right locations or to book them or to log them, because I lost some of the locations before shooting, and then I had kind of to reconfigure, and even during shooting, which really catches you in a situation that you have to run after your tail and catch up. The crew was a combination of crew from Malta, stunt team from Germany, a lot of crew came from Bulgaria.
Oh, cool.
Done
Okay.
15 movies there, so I feel comfortable with those. Of course, from the States, even from Israel. So it was international crew.
Yeah. You're not joking.
From all over the world.
Yeah. And how was it? Is this the first time you've worked with Frank Grillo or Robert Patrick?
Yes. First time that I worked with them.
Yeah,
Yes.
those are big names. I think those are like very eye-catching, people with a storied past that are going to be, definitely bringing in the audience to see. And I am 100% bought and sold on Grillo. I've loved his catalog, especially in the last few years.
hopefully this movie will do well. What can I say? You know, we worked hard on it.
I know
All
you,
of us.
you
We
got
really worked hard. And
you got Frank Grillo and you got the
let's see.
T1000.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. I think we got a little bit of a connection issue. So if we're dropping out on your end, just let me know.
Sometimes you're dropping. Yeah.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
bad. So I'll tell you the basically the plot for our listeners is you have a group of like mercenaries they're called the Hounds, and they're essentially getting together for one last job. And Grillo has, he's swore he wasn't going to do it again. He came back for one last job, and I'll let the movie, the plot itself play out. But things don't go great, and there's no shortage of actions, no shortage of creative ways to fight. The fight choreography is fun. The gunplay, lots of squibs. I don't know what the ratio of digital to practical squibs, but it was a solid looking fight sequences, a lot of solid looking fight sequences. And one thing I'll say that I really loved about this movie was that your cinematographer Erickson Core, he was from the original Fast and the Furious movie. He did the Point Break movie in 2015, and then even like Daredevil. So he's worked on a ton of like notable movies, and there was some phenomenal lighting setups in this, and the way the camera was moving. So the two of you guys together really made a beautiful looking movie.
I think that it's more than two because I want to mention the camera operator, also Ross Clarkson, that I've done about 10 movies with. I think when it comes to operating and doing fights, I think it's the best in the world.
Yeah.
So I do him the Undisputed movies, the Ninja movies.
Yeah.
So when he takes the camera, magic comes. And Erickson was more than a DP. I think for me, it was one of the producers in this movie. His contribution was way beyond being a DP. He's a fantastic person, and he's a problem solver for all of the department. He was like really a leader, a general in that movie.
That's great. It's really nice to have. I mean, you talk to a lot of like young filmmakers who are trying to get into the business, and everybody wants to know how to get in, how to break through, or whatever. And I feel like a big part of it that people don't talk about is finding someone that you trust, that that we worked on this small project together, and we're going to move on to bigger things, and you kind of level up together with these trusted allies in the industry. So shooting the same crew for 10, 15 movies, you already know what you're getting yourself into, and there's a huge trust factor there.
That's absolutely right. A good friend of mine that passed away years ago, actor Paul Smith, that was in Midnight Express, the bad guy, and
Oh, wow.
was in Popeye with Robin Williams, played Brutus, and many other movies. Told me this is about 35 years ago. Told me it's a war to get a movie, and it's a war to do a movie, so you go to war with your friends. Absolutely right. If you work with somebody and you learn to work with him, and both of you are continuing to cooperate over the years, it's a benefit for everybody because they know you. You don't have to talk too much.
Yeah.
You don't have to explain so much. Absolutely, it comes across. Yes.
That's beautiful.
So talking about it, I'd like to mention a few other people.
Yes, please.
I want to mention David Wald. David Wald was the action director and the fight choreographer. And talking about old friendship, David and I worked already in Power Rangers 31 years ago.
Oh, nice.
And his contribution was very important for this movie. And also Mike Moeller from Germany that also has a role in the movie, but he brought the stunt team and was also doing also some of the fight choreography with David. And I mean, it's a team of people, of friends that trust, and they will do way and beyond to overcome and to bring this mission to a success. And a movie like this is a mission because you don't have a lot of shooting days, you don't have a lot of budget, you try to achieve as much as possible.
Yeah.
That basically on the team. That's what it is.
Yeah, and I know. I mean, you're talking about shooting any type of movie. There's challenges, there's roadblocks, there's whatever. I a lot of times we say on the show that it's a miracle that any movie is even made because of just how monumental of a task it is to shoot it. nonetheless, a short. And Joseph, you can't see him on the camera, but he's sitting just to my right.
Hello.
Hey, Joseph is he's our camera guy. He's been he's went to art school. He's in film school. He's done actual productions and shot short films and this and that. And it's like, and I've been in a very, very small part of some of those, and just seeing the extravagant nature of taking something that's going to ultimately be a 7-minute or less short is so wild. And then, shooting overseas in these exotic nature or locales with big camera setups and big lighting setups. And then on top of it, you got huge teams of people to do all this fight choreography. Is like, it really is a huge accomplishment. And, the finished product at the end of the day, I think is a really fun one. So I think that people are going to enjoy this, and it's coming out Friday, September 20th on digital and VOD. So I'd recommend, viewers, if action stuff is right up your alley and you want something that looks great and is also a lot of fun, Hounds of War is a really solid one. So yeah, good. Love the movie. It's very solid.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you got it.
The fact that movies.
One thing that I like to add, sometimes I go to. I'm sorry, I lost you.
Sorry, I was just I kind of extrapolating on Pete's point earlier about filmmaking and the accomplishment of an achievement that is filmmaking in general, and the fact that you can just organize people together alone to plan a movie is an achievement on its own. And then getting you all together again.
If I can add.
Yeah, getting you all together again to then actually make the movie and hit and say action and hit record and put up lights is another achievement. So it's just like achievement after achievement. And then the end product is like, this is all of our efforts put together at the end of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely, 100% right. And sometimes I go to a film festival and there is winner or not winner, and I'm saying, no. There is no winner 1, 2, and 3. The fact that people have already a movie in a festival, that they finish the movie, they're already winners.
Mm-hmm.
They're already winners.
Yeah.
So that's what it is.
Now, I got a question for you as far as like how you got yourself into the action genre niche. Obviously, it's a passion for you. You got all the martial arts books behind you. You've been collecting them for years. What's the earliest type of like martial arts that really spoke to you? Because there's all different parts of the world have different types of fight styles. What speaks to you?
I saw in the late 60s a James Bond movie, You Only Live Twice.
Oh yeah,
It happens in Japan. And it showed karate. And I saw it as a child and I was totally fascinated. I was really fascinated.
Nice.
And it was a dream as a child to learn it. And a few years later, I got lucky and I joined a karate dojo. And I basically promised myself that no matter what, I will never, ever, ever quit, will never leave it. So 53 years later, I'm still a karate bunny. I still train. So that's the base. That was the martial arts. That's my base, and I still love it with a passion. I did some other stuff, of course, during the years. You see that there is more. I mean, the differences between the arts are not that big,
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's really my base and my passion.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. I love it. I've been kind of exposing myself to a lot of the Hong Kong original kind of classic Hong Kong cinema lately, the stuff that it's inspired some of the Quentin Tarantino stuff, like the Shaw Brothers and a lot of those Shaw productions. And Hong Kong martial arts and that sort of kung fu, and there's some really fantastic, movies that kind of break apart what the most superior fighting style is. And the funny thing is, a lot of them are doing the exact same thing. They're saying, "Oh yeah, this is kung fu, and this is karate, and this is taekwondo, and this is Muay Thai," but they're all very similar. This one has this type of weapon, and this one has that one, and they're very similar. They're like,
As a matter of fact,
yeah,
until 1936, karate was written as the Chinese hand, Tang Te, and in 1936 they changed it from, because they wanted to kind of Japanize it, from the Chinese hand to the empty hand. So, and karate really comes from Kung Fu. It's different, but the roots are Chinese fighting arts that arrived to Okinawa, and there it became karate. So it was influenced totally by Chinese Kung Fu. Also, Siamese arts, what is called the Thai boxing, so arrived there. So it's all a blend. And something that people don't know, a lot of the high kicks that are used in karate and later from there, they arrived to Taekwondo, came from French savate, French boxing that was popular at the late 19th century. So it was always a synthesis between East. Yes, not so many people are of it. One more thing, if I may add.
Yeah.
For me, it was Fists of Fury that kind of dropped. It's suddenly I understood. I said, wait a minute, you can do really a movie that is a martial arts movie, like is the subgenre.
Yeah.
And I saw it. I was already trained. I saw it, and it was like a revelation for me. That was around 1972.
Yeah, you nailed it, 1972. So on the topic of Bruce Lee, I mean, he is obviously one of the most iconic martial arts martial arts stars. You know, over the years we've had, you know, Jackie Chan, you've had Jet Li, you've had Tony Jaa. Who now, for your money, is like the guy to look at? Maybe the next up and coming martial arts master in film, or somebody who should be more popular but they're not.
Look, the new generation with people like Scott Atkins
Yeah, Scott Atkins.
are doing phenomenal stuff because they are the whole package. They can do fantastic acrobatics. They can act. They're fantastic martial artists. You know, it's a total new generation.
Yeah.
So and they're pushing the envelope. Every time I'm doing a movie with, say, let me Scott Atkins, and we try to push the envelope, especially in the Undisputed movies, because we know that there's the audience that is, they love the genre and they're looking and they basically want to see more stuff or more kind of realistic stuff, let's say, with no wires.
Yeah.
That you can do and you can bring to the screen and you can do without cuts. So it's pushing the envelope.
Yeah, his movie a few years back, One Shot, is
Yes.
just insane.
Yes.
And-
Yes. Scott Mann, I think, directed it. Or no, sorry.
Yeah, I'm not sure who the director is on that one,
forgot.
but they have a sequel, one more shot. I haven't seen that one yet.
I think James Nunn.
James Nunn
Directed it and did a brilliant job.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's just, I mean, the fight choreography and the action and all that stuff is already great, but just the production and the one take
There's a
style.
great fight in Scott Atkins. Fantastic. No, absolutely. There's a great fighter between Lee Charles and Scott Atkins, and it's really phenomenal. It's really fantastic.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
ton of fun gunplay and martial
Charles, by
arts.
the
play.
way, is also in Hounds of War.
Oh, is he? Oh, okay, cool, nice.
So I'm lucky. Yeah.
I recognize a number of the guys in there. I couldn't put their a name to the face, but I'm like, I recognize that guy. I've seen him a bunch of stuff. But yeah, again, a really fun movie, and on top of it just being a good action movie on itself, and it's got some really beautiful locations. The cinematography is great, the lighting's great, the quality of the film looks fantastic. So, you know, I know you only have you're about our time with you, so I just want to say thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it, Isaac. Thank you very much, and
Thank you.
yeah, absolutely, and thank you for making that movie and just continuing to make movies. I know you got a couple more upcoming ones. Let's see here. Eagle and Hellfire are the next upcoming movies from me, right?
Hellfire actually is the next one.
Hellfire.
And it's already in post-production.
Nice.
And it's a different movie. It's a contemporary Western.
Cool.
With Stephen Lang and Harvey Keitel and
Oh, wow.
Johnny Young Bosch from the Power Rangers.
That's cool.
And yeah. And I love this movie. Yeah, it's slowly. We're in post.
Cool. Well, I'll keep an eye out for you. I'm going to put a pin in you and try to follow more of your projects in the future. So I really appreciate you, man. And you have a great day. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you for talking.
All right.
Thank you for talking with me.
Bye-bye, sir. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. What a delight.
Yeah,
That was cool.
that was cool.
Guy knows his stuff.
Yeah, I had no idea how I had so much history with martial arts. I mean, I guess it makes sense considering the body of his work.
Well, it's refreshing to see someone who actually has that,
They
like,
can talk the talk.
Yeah,
and they can walk the walk.
physically kick your ass and also run circles around you production-wise, since he's had, literal decades of production.
Yeah. Let's get rid of this.
Yeah.
If you're watching this, we're not going to stare at a pencil drawing of Rust Cole
that's Tyler.
this entire time. He wishes. But yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, so anyways, listeners, this movie's called Hounds of War, and it's out on video and on demand Friday, September 20th. So coming up here real soon.
Sweet. Now let's get into some actual
It's actual news stories.
news stories.
I don't want to spend a ton of time on this, but I do feel like it is necessary to talk about the passing of James Earl Jones. He is no longer with us. He passed this last week at the age of 93. Just one of the more iconic voices of all time. Like the dude, if you want a deep, reverential voice, you go to James Earl Jones. He was Mufasa. He was obviously Darth Vader. And for my childhood, he was the scary neighbor from Sandlot.
Oh yeah, I guess that was him.
He owns the beast.
Yeah, he's also the king of Zamunda.
Oh yeah, and Coming to America.
Yes, Eddie Murphy's father.
Yeah,
Great role.
So many great voices. He lent his voice to The Simpsons a number of times, many times actually.
Yeah.
Just a great voice that I feel like was a huge part of my childhood, and it's really sad to see him
I think
go.
he was was he the villain in one of the Conan movies, I think.
Was that Conan?
I think it was.
Yeah, with the long straight hair.
Yeah.
What a I've never seen the Conan movies, but
They're funny.
I'm sure. Yeah. So rest in peace, James Earl Jones. And speaking of Star Wars, James has signed away his life rights and post-life rights of his voice to the franchise. We covered that story about a year ago on this show. And basically, in perpetuity, his estate is going to get money anytime they use his voice in a AI re-representation. So that seems to be, I mean, it's kind of depressing in a way, but at the same time, it's almost like a painter who lives on past his life. He's famous in life maybe, but afterlife could be even more famous.
So he basically just gave him the right to use his voice to keep creating content with his voice.
Correct. So that character of Darth Vader will never have to have a different voice than him.
Yeah, that's like, I feel like it kind of makes sense for, him specifically, because he had such an iconic voice, and his voice had a presence. But at the same time, it's like what you can do whatever you want with it. I mean, there has to be some sort of approval process.
He's probably, I would imagine, just knowing him, because he's a famously realistic person. He doesn't seem like a phony. He just seems like a regular guy.
Yeah.
He's probably just like, I'm dead. What do I care? That's not a quote from him or not anything. That's just my assumption. But anyways, some people kind of weep at the idea of that, but I feel like that's the right way to go about it. They took action before his death, and he agreed to the whole thing. The flip side to that is that Peter Cushing, who played Grand Moff Tarkin, in Rogue One, was digitally recreated for that movie.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was thinking, well, they must have got the rights from his family.
They must have.
They must have. Like, it's Disney and Fox, right?
Yeah.
Lucasfilm was sold to them, and basically they own everything, including Peter Cushing's estate, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, that's not really the case. Apparently, they did not ask for permission for that, and now they're being sued for it.
What, it's been like almost 10 years since that movie was released?
Well, he died 20 years ago in 1994.
Yeah.
And Rogue One came out in
2016.
2016, that's what it was?
Yeah.
So like 8 years. That's crazy. That's crazy.
They just saw the movie.
What?
The people who are suing, the family are...
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like it's 8 years now, and they're forming a legal defense. But the thing is, from my understanding, is that it's not the family that's going after him. It's Cushing's best friend.
Oh, okay.
He's basically saying, why isn't anybody doing anything about this?
You guys,
Yeah.
Money. You could get money out of this.
So Cushing's died at the age of 81, and he was originally in, obviously, A New Hope, and there was some sort of agreement with the executors of Cushing's estate, which sought permission to use his image and grant for a return fee. But the companies had a bid to have the claim thrown out, rejected by a judge last December, which they challenged in a hearing in London in July. But a ruling on Monday, Deputy High Court Judge Tom Mitchison, KC, I think this is British, dismissed the appeal, stating that the case should go to trial. So in his ruling, the judge said that he was far from persuaded that Tyburn Film Productions, did some of that was that specific part of it they were tasked for the movie, would be successful in its claim, and the case was not unarguable, and a full factual inquiry was needed. So the trial is now set to take place at a later date, has yet to be determined yet. So I think the reason why I'm bringing this up is that we've talked a lot about anti-AI on this show. You know, we are not fans of generative AI stealing people's likenesses, essentially stealing people's intellectual property and then repurposing it as your own for free.
Yeah.
I think it's bullshit. And there's it doesn't take somebody with a very strong creative gene to be able to think that in the future some very dark things are going to be happening with this sort of technology.
Yeah. I'm actually in a Facebook group that is like an anti-AI Facebook group.
Hey, me too.
And I thought I was anti-AI.
Yeah.
You know, and some of those, I think someone posted about that specific story a couple days ago as well. And like, obviously the comments went off. And there's always, I don't want to say like, there's no AI apologists within those groups because they usually just get banned.
Yeah, they get banned very quickly.
Banned or kicked.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's like realistic takes in there as well. Like, there was a Rook.
Yeah, Rook. Alien
They
Romulus.
they got the permission from the family and all this stuff, and it's like you have that out there now, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like they allowed this, they were cool with it,
Yeah.
and then you have the people on either sides of that saying like it doesn't matter if they were cool with it, it's still AI and wrong. It doesn't matter if they gave permission, and then you have other people. It's like it's not as bad as the other side of the fence is. It's not as bad as them just doing it
without asking,
or just creating something completely AI generated, even if it wasn't Rook itself. So it's like you have then another like a separate discussion, then inner turmoil between like I don't want to equate it to this. I'm not equating it to
here
it.
comes, here it comes.
But we're reviewing Do the Right Thing.
Oh my God.
And it's like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. It's like what way is the right way to go?
Yeah.
You know, what path do we go down to achieve the same goal?
Oh, I see. Because they both had very different ideologies towards racial equality.
Towards the same goal.
Okay, I got you now.
No, like this is just as bad.
Please don't.
In the 60s.
No.
When Martin Luther King was on those steps. I stood where he stood when I was in DC.
Oh God. Yeah, I mean, it bears a little bit more nuance, you know, more of a nuanced discussion.
Yeah.
But the reason I think that this is important is because the court is now saying we need to break this apart. This is not as simple as yes, this happened, and yes, technically you signed on the dotted line because let's just say 10 years ago, what did anybody know about AI back then?
Terminator and iRobot.
Yeah, it's like if you're like, okay, yeah, I'll sign the rights to my grandfather's estate off to you in perpetuity forever for $500. It seems almost like that's predatory. And yes, you signed at the dotted line, but if you are using legal jargon and coercing somebody into something that they don't understand and taking advantage of them, there has to be some sort of like legal protection to that.
Yeah, it's like a Nathan Fielder episode.
Yeah.
Nathan for you, where it's like, well, you're a lawyer. I thought you read the contract. Isn't that what you do?
Yeah, exactly.
I'll sign it for the camera, but you know.
So comments in the chat, Angry Otter's in there, and he says that there were no protections for the use of AI, and the old contracts allowed the studios to use the actor's likeness in perpetuity. That was the whole reason behind the SAG strikes. Yeah, that was a big chunk of it. I think that also it was like AI scripts being used. replacing script writers by AI and then fleshing it out with real people. And then he also says, I think the infancy of it all was The Crow in completing the movie after Brandon Lee died on set. But I don't think they took his face and did it. I think probably just used creative editing more than anything.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm curious as to how much of that movie was made or done before the incident.
Yeah, I know that there was a fair amount of production they still had to do after the death, but Don Rickles, after he died, he still voiced Potato Head in the Toy Story movies after his death.
Yeah, and then the actor Proximo in Gladiator.
Yep.
He died during the making. That's why
Oliver, what's his name?
Oliver Stone. Ledoux. I don't know. 'Cause that's why that scene in Gladiator, it looks so weird.
Yeah.
When he's like, open the gate, Proximo.
Yeah, Oliver Reed, that's it.
Oh, I was about to say Reed too. That's crazy.
Nice. Yeah, there's. I mean, you got to get creative in certain things, but I think like with Don Rickles, they used old recordings of him as the character and takes that they didn't use from old stuff, dug it up, and then repurposed it for the scene.
Oh, so they just recut together old VO and made it work with their script.
Which is like, there's nothing wrong with that. You signed on to make the project. You use the footage. It's like putting a deleted scene onto a DVD. You know.
Oh yeah, Paul Walker in Fast.
Oh yeah,
Fast 6 or whatever it is.
Fast 7, I think. Yeah, that's it. It's like putting his face over his brother's face. He's his brother as the actor.
Oh yeah. That's crazy.
That was very early, and they knew their limitations, so they didn't like have him talk or anything. He just stood there and smiled, or sat there and smiled while he drove away.
It's insane that like now it's kind of changing into a different subject. like when Heath Ledger died, like what was the movie we were gonna get?
Oh yeah, for The Dark Knight.
Yeah, for the third one. You know, what was gonna be that story?
Yeah.
What was gonna be the rest of the Fast and Furious movies gonna be? You know?
Yeah.
What was that movie gonna be like? Because obviously that movie ends with the see me again. That, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, a lot of interesting stuff there. So anyways, we're just going to keep an eye on that, and we'll just see what happens in the future.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's all I got.
All right. Tyler? Oh, no.
No, Tyler.
Not there. It's my turn. It's right to me. I got a couple news stories. Two kind of exciting news stories, I think. For fans of Constantine, the Keanu Reeves movie, not the comic, but maybe both. I don't know. Constantine 2 has a script. It has been written, and the supposed producer, Lorenzo di Bonaventura is his name, is working through his fears to read the Constantine 2 script. He says he's too scared to actually read the script.
Like, why? Because so much is writing on it?
I think
They've been hyping it up for years.
He says, it's in my inbox right now.
Oh my God, he really hasn't read it.
I'm just too scared to read it. I want it to be good so bad. I'll probably read it in the next few days when I get on an airplane.
But they're not saying it's the completed script, right?
It's a script.
Okay.
I don't know if it's like this is the final draft of the script.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's kind of a weird way to do it. The producer's just like, okay, call me when you've already 100% fleshed it out.
Yeah.
I don't want to read the first draft.
I mean, a producer's gonna have say, obviously.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
You know, give me.
If you're reading a first draft or even like a third draft of it, it's like the pressure's not that high.
I mean, at least. You're not even in the production stage. You're the producer. You can like, no, we're not gonna do this. Like,
yeah. Page 1, it just says, for context, Constantine, the story picks up the day after the first one ends. We will use AI generation to de-age Keanu Reeves and Rachel Weisz.
Oh gosh. What was his friend in the bowling alley?
He's dead.
Yeah, he's back somehow. That's the first, and he's the villain.
And the guy who drinks himself to death.
Oh yeah, the priest.
The priest with the crazy eyes.
He drinks himself to death, or is that he just can't drink anything?
He thinks he's not drinking.
That's right. It's a trick on him.
Yeah.
The devil's greatest trick.
Yeah, exactly.
Is to think that you could drink as much as you want.
How much you want to bet Peter Stormare's back as the devil?
I would hope.
I fucking hope so.
Right?
What a delightful devil.
That was like one of the highlights of the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
As brief as his role was in it, you know? It was like Morgan Freeman being God.
Yeah, Perfect.
Yeah, Morgan Freeman should be God.
Oh, God. I don't know about that.
And reprise his role. Or they should get Reese Witherspoon to be the angel like in Little Nicky.
Oh, like Little Nicky, yeah.
And then if Peter Stormare's not available, Harvey Keitel.
If God, I wish Rip Torn was still with us. He could be God. That'd be perfect.
You do a good Rip Torn? You do.
I'm sorry, not Rip Torn. I'm thinking Rip Taylor.
Oh, Rip Taylor.
Yeah, Rip Taylor would be even better.
The gay Rip Torn.
God. It's chaotic good, Rip Torn.
Yeah. So the producer, he's scared. I'm scared because he's afraid that it's not going to be good. I mean, it's just in the script stage, so it's unknown if it will be one of the many projects to launch under James Gunn's DC universe.
Yeah.
Or if it will just be its own thing. Or if it will follow like a Joker path where it will just be like a separate, we're over here.
Yeah.
You guys are over there. We're doing our own thing.
So it is in that universe?
No, it's not clear. It's
okay.
unknown.
They haven't said so yet.
It's unknown.
I forgot that it's DC.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And as far as the first one goes, I enjoy it quite a bit.
I love that movie.
Yeah. It's a fun.
It's super fun.
It's like a fun, half spooky, creepy movie.
Yeah.
With good, somewhat dated effects, but I feel like it fits within the way the movie is made and the way that they do some of the effects. Shia LaBeouf is in it. I forgot.
Oh yeah.
Shia LaBeouf is back.
Oh, he's gonna come back as the angel because he's an angel at the end.
Yeah.
Maybe he's God.
Oh god.
No.
Oh Shia.
No Mutt. We can't have Mutt as God.
But yeah, I'm kind of excited to see if they were to make it. I know Keanu Reeves has said that he would like to return to John Constantine.
Yeah.
That's like one of the characters that he would like to come back to.
Yeah, he's been very vocal about it, which is it's been 20 years, 16 years, something like that.
It's been almost 20 years.
Let's see.
2005. So
Okay.
almost 20 years.
Yeah, cool, dope.
Come on, 20th anniversary. You could do it.
That's right.
You could do it.
And it's a good movie you can watch at Halloween or anytime.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fits in Halloween, but it's got a religious connotation, so it's not specifically spooky.
It's the same religious connotation as like a
Exorcist.
Conjuring movie.
Yeah, Conjuring, the Exorcist or something.
Except it's more of like a thriller action movie and less like horror, like straight horror movie. But yeah, so Constantine 2, will it happen? I don't know. It's got a script, and the producer is scared to read it.
Cool, I'm excited.
And then my next news story, we're going back to the world of Dune because it's so good. And so is Denis for Dune Messiah.
Hell yeah.
I mean, it's already been announced previously that he was going to make it.
Yeah.
But now it's we're definitely going to make it now. According to an article, Messiah starts production in August of 2025.
Ooh. Okay.
For a 2026 release.
That seems like a rush.
Yeah, maybe.
For that big of a production.
Perhaps.
August of next year, probably 3 months of shooting for a movie that size, right?
Yeah, to then 2026. It could be the end of 2026.
Yeah, and then they have to put all the VFX and everything within that 8-month window or so, 9-month window before the end of the year.
Yeah, what was...
I won't be surprised if it goes to 27, is what I'm saying.
Part 1, Part 2, what was that difference? 2021 and 2020 this year. So almost a 3-year total.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and so he is going to make and wants to make Dune Messiah, but he does not want you to view it as a trilogy. Just like he doesn't want you to view Dune Part 1 and Dune Part 2 as 2 movies and one is a sequel to the first one.
Yeah.
And as one movie, because it is the complete story of the first book of just Dune.
It's just like Lord of the Rings. You have to watch them all three.
Oh, yeah,
all three. You have to watch all 3 of them.
But I guess the opposite of that would be like Peter Jackson's Hobbit, where it's one book with 3 movies, where you have 3 books and 1 movie with Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And that book is shorter than all 3 of those. I don't know. And then you're adding shit that doesn't, whatever.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't want to get you started.
No, it's okay. But yeah, and I would agree with that idea that I wouldn't consider it a trilogy. One, because it's only 2 books, and 2 things in a series is not a trilogy.
Yeah.
It's a duology.
Duology, yeah.
I was like, biology.
That's a different thing. There's already a word for that.
Yeah, I guess it is.
That word means something different.
And I've read Messiah, and it is going to be it's going to be completely different than Dune. than the first one.
No, not a whole lot of war.
No, it's a lot more like conspiring and political betrayal, that type of stuff.
Not a lot of talk about trade war,
not a lot of
embargoes and stuff like
not
that.
a lot of action.
Cool.
More of it. It's definitely gonna be more of a drama than anything if he's gonna go by the book, and it's very weird. And there's certain characters that are gonna have to come back, and there are moments in the book where I was like, "What the fuck." It's gonna be wild.
Well, I'm glad I don't read. So it'd be a surprise to me.
And I know that Florence Pugh and Anya Taylor-Joy will have prominent roles in the movie.
Zendaya will not be able to be there because Denny is making Cleopatra with her instead.
That'd be kind of crazy.
He is.
Is he actually?
Yeah.
With Zendaya?
With Zendaya
As
Cleopatra.
Oh, why didn't you make that? Whatever. I guess you heard it here first.
It's in pre-production right now.
Oh, cool.
She
She will also be in it.
actually don't know if Zendaya is confirmed for Cleopatra.
Oh, okay.
But it's heavily rumored.
But yes, I mean, she will have to be in Messiah unless they change her, recast her somehow.
Yeah.
Which I don't think they would.
No.
And the story takes place over 10 years after the first book.
But you said that he's basically leaving the door open for other people to make it, right?
At the end, after Messiah, he's going to be done with it. Doesn't want to come back to it. But he said he will leave it open to make the other ones because there's Children of Dune after that, which I think is the last of the Frank Herbert books. And then his son wrote other ones after that, which what I've heard just get fucking crazier and crazier. Someone turns into a worm at one point.
Cool.
Yeah. There's actually a BBC miniseries with James McAvoy where he plays the son of Paul and he turns into a worm.
It's called Would You Love Me If I Was a Worm?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it's. But yeah, so Denis he took a break from filmmaking after part 2. He went into the Canadian woods. This is real. Not making it up.
Naked.
Canadian woods and took a break. Wanted to see some water and some rain maybe, and get out of the desert, the Jordan desert.
And he's like, I'll make another movie about sand with Cleopatra in it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to Egypt now.
Known for its lush lakes.
And so, and at the same time though, he has been writing, and it would be Messiah that he'd been working on. He's also working on like Cleopatra and also Rendezvous with Rama, which is another book, sci-fi story.
I've heard that name. I don't know anything about it though.
Me either. I just heard it's another sci-fi epic book.
Cool.
Which, like, who better to make the?
I like the idea of thinking about Denny up there in the Ticonderoga.
Yeah.
Timber.
Chopping trees or something. I don't know. Building fires, wearing plaid, and being a lumberjack.
What do they call that? Bush in the lighthouse, right? He's talking about hauling Ticonderoga.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
It's been too long. It's about time for a rewatch.
I have not watched that in a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
cool.
We have a lot of more Dune stuff to look forward to.
Dune.
I'm very excited about.
Cool.
Can't wait.
Arthur C. Clarke book, Rendezvous with Rama.
Yeah. So I think Messiah is going to be the next movie he releases. So we won't see Cleopatra or Rendezvous with Rama until 2028,
2030,
and 9 and 30.
Yeah.
We're all still alive by then.
Yeah, if the sun hasn't crashed into Earth.
Yeah, we haven't experienced our own civil war here in. The U.S.
We do have an election coming up.
Oh God.
Oh boy.
It gets stressful and stressful.
Yeah.
All right. No Tyler news, so let's move on to some stream picks.
Movies.
Wanna watch a movie?
Yes, I do.
Disney Plus, HBO Max.
If I don't get the pick, show's over.
I have grown accustomed to Hulu Plus.
Amazon Prime.
I like Netflix.
You found the pick.
Stream picks. Movies that we watched on our streaming services so that you can watch or not watch them based on our recommendation or not.
Yeah.
Or whatever you want. Do it.
Do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, I don't care. I mean, I do care. I got to channel the Tyler energies.
Do whatever the hell you want.
You know, I don't care about our listeners.
Yeah,
I don't care what you do. You could stop listening right now. Wouldn't affect me anyway. That's Tyler talking. Not me. Got to fill the void.
Yeah.
All right, Pete.
Yeah.
What do you have to stream pick?
Oh, I got a mess of movies that I watched this week.
You made a mess of yourself.
Yeah, some good, some bad. You can leave it on the 2. It's fine. I don't care.
Okay. How about this? Or this?
Yeah, just do the 2. We don't need to see the Russ Cole. It's not enough of that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just kind of blow through some of these. So Caddyshack, 1980, not streaming anywhere. Actually, you'd have to rent it. But I mean, I think most people have seen the movie, and I felt it was appropriate to actually talk about it because this is my first time watching it all the way through. I've seen clips to death. All the famous clips. I know all the famous quotes. I know all the characters. I know who they are, or at least I thought I knew who they were. And I watched it on VHS from my VHS collection. And it's fine. Caddyshack is fine.
Oh, Caddyshack.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's 70s humor.
1980.
Oh, well,
It's
basically
it feels
70s.
like 70s.
Made
yeah.
in the 70s.
Yeah, and it's like, I think Chevy Chase is doing his very particular shtick that he did like on SNL all the time. And sometimes it works and sometimes it really doesn't. Rodney Dangerfield is a goddamn national treasure, though, I got to say. I mean, he only does one thing, but he really does it perfectly, and there's nobody like Rodney Dangerfield, so I loved that aspect of it.
Hey, my wife.
Yeah.
Take her, please. Right?
Exactly.
Something like that.
That's a Dangerfield. Yeah, it's like every opportunity he has to like bag on somebody, he does it to great effect. And he's just a goofball. He's got like a golf bag that has like a refrigerator in it and like a satellite phone and all kinds of stuff. And he's somehow a billionaire. He's basically like John Lovitz in the Benchwarmers. But there's a lot to this movie that's just all over the place and kind of a mess. So I'm really glad that it exists. I'm really glad that it spawned a lot of like modern comedies, after it. But it's fine. 1980s Caddyshack.
What's worse than that, though?
What's that?
Caddyshack 2.
Oh, will not watch. Thanks for the warning. So the next one I watched is called I'm Just Fucking With You.
Ah, yeah.
From 2019. You seen it?
Yeah, I recommended it.
Oh, okay, cool. I saw the name and I'm like, pretty sure I heard this somewhere. I can't remember where. How long ago was this streaming pick?
I'd have to go, but it was a while ago.
A while ago, okay. Pretty good, pretty fun. Like clearly it's like a low budget sort of a thing, but it really makes the best of what it has. It's basically like an internet troll who is constantly fucking with people online, and he just loves to do it. And he's a germaphobe, and he hates his life, and he's going out of town to go to his ex-girlfriend's wedding with the new guy, because the new guy is his cousin, so he's invited to the wedding. And when he checks into this shitty motel somewhere in LA, he runs into the guy that works at the front desk, who is super fun.
April is when I watched.
April? Okay,
watched
cool.
It. Yeah.
Super charismatic front desk guy who is constantly fucking with him the entire time. And the pranks get worse and worse and worse to the point where people are dying. And it just ramps up. It's like one of these movies that you can just tell it's just going to ramp and ramp and ramp until, I don't know, they end up in space or whatever.
Yeah.
That's always the joke with improv. But this is a like Into the Dark series or something like that on Hulu. So if you were like to search for it on IMDb, it won't show up. You have to look into the actual series name, and it's like season 3, episode 2. But it is a full length feature movie. So yeah, look that up on Hulu. It's called I'm Just Fucking With You. Pretty fun. A little bit frustrating.
Really indie comedy horror thriller.
Indie comedy horror thriller.
Yeah,
I'd say that's perfect in that amalgamation. And the guy who's the hypochondriac, the main character, he reminds me of Tyler a lot, the actor, because he was in a movie I watched called No Exit, where he played a very like.
Oh, was that him?
That was him, same guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I was like, I wonder that guy from somewhere.
Didn't have the same hair though. Right?
No, he had it like more coiffed. So, anyways, that's I'm Just Fucking With You, 2019. I revisited Kinds of Kindness, followed up for Joseph's streaming pick, and very middle on this one, very middling for me, 3 stars. It left me cold in a number of ways, but pretty much throughout the whole thing, I was like, someone want just a little more of whatever it is.
Context.
Yeah, some context or something to happen.
I'm like, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, and it's better that it's 3 short stories, because it is a long ass movie. But I almost just wish that they would have just done one movie and fleshed it out fully. Because there's just, and I feel almost like this is like Yorgos had a bunch of these movies kind of in his back pocket, these ideas for movies in his back pocket, and said, well, I don't really want to spend all this time to make them all into features. So let's just make an anthology movie.
Yeah, it could be it.
Could be something like that.
He had like remnants of idea, or it's like small ideas that he hadn't quite expanded on. And I was like, I'll just
like
I'll just put it all in one.
The first one, I definitely felt like there was a lot of, kind of like unpacking the idea of like your work owns you.
Yeah.
And that was like very clear. The second one where she disappears and then a clone or something comes back. Like
supposedly.
I'm like, what was I supposed to take from that? I didn't quite get.
Yeah, it was like watching like a Black Mirror episode.
Yeah.
Where it's like, but it's like not sci-fi at all, really.
But where the hell did she come from then?
Yeah, and then the end with the, I mean, there were some great like kind of shock things that were like really well done. All of it's really well executed.
Yeah, there was a shocking sex scene in the second short film that I'm like,
oh, okay.
And wow,
they just filmed the porn.
They're pretty much just filming a straight up porn with like A-list actors.
And the fact that they're all just watching it together.
Oh my gosh.
Like they're reviewing like play by play.
Yeah. Remember this?
Yeah. I know, it's so weird.
Like old
with
times.
Jesse Plemons, Margaret Qualley, Emma Stone, and Mamadou.
Yeah. Mamadou. Just call him Mamadou.
Mamadou.
But and then the third one was I like that. I think I like the third one probably.
That's the one with the Mustang or the
Challenger.
Yeah,
the purple Challenger. She just burning rubber everywhere she goes.
Yeah.
None of it really made sense in a way, especially the second and third ones were just like, I mean, there's probably something there and probably too thick to absorb it all, but I just kind of felt like this one left me very cold. So Kinds of Kindness, if you want to dig into that, it's streaming on Hulu as well.
It's just odd.
Just odd, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely like pretty low tier on my movie list for this year. I watched a classic, The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3.
The one with John Travolta?
No, the original one.
Oh.
One with
so not the classic.
Walter Matthau. This is streaming on Tubi, Pluto, MGM Plus, Hoopla, Fubo, and that's it. This is pretty solid. It's more fun than I thought it was going to be, because this is a drama about a group of men that take command of a subway car, like subway train in New York.
They took it.
Yeah. Well, they don't know where they can go, but they basically say, "Hey, we're
taking Pelham 1, 2, 3."
Yeah. Well, it's leaving the Pelham station at 123, and that's like it's the Pelham 123 train or whatever. Heather loves this one; she's signing off in the chat. The thing that I didn't expect about this was that it was a lot more like fun and there's some levity there. Like for example, there's you get to know that there's an undercover police officer on the train, much like a marshal on a plane.
Is there always a marshal on a plane?
I think now there is.
Every single flight? There's that many marshals?
Maybe, I don't know.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but you get to hear that because the hijackers are communicating via like this walkie-talkie, like the employee chat essentially thing with like the headquarters, and at some point you find out, off mic, they don't know, but we know that there's essentially a police officer on the train. He's got a gun. But the whole time you don't know who it is.
I've got a gun.
Yeah, and you're thinking, at what time is the police officer going to strike into action and save the day? And what happens may surprise you. But there's also there's a woman on the train that's just drunk and passed out. It misses the whole hijacking. She wakes up at the very fucking end.
Oh.
And is like, hey, did I miss my stop? It's like there's some levity there. There's some funny stuff. And the way the movie actually ends is like the end of an episode of Columbo or something. It's so funny.
Oh.
But this is from 1974. Listen to the cast on this. Walter Matthau plays like the transit authority police officer. Robert Shaw, who's from Jaws, who plays Quint. He's got those cold dead eyes like a doll's eye. He's the main hijacker.
Okay.
Martin Balsam, Hector Elizondo is one of the hijackers. He's a loose cannon hijacker. He's been in a billion things. And then Earl Hindeman, who plays Mr. Wilson. No, not Mr. Wilson, just Wilson from Home Improvement. the next door neighbor who's always
Oh, you
behind
don't
the
see him?
fence.
Yeah.
He's one of the hijackers in this. So really, really great. There's a lot of other stuff. Jerry Stiller's in this.
Jerry Stiller.
He plays also. He's a transit authority. He's kind of like a lackluster dude that doesn't really care. Doris Roberts is in this. So yeah, this is pretty fun. I didn't really expect a whole lot, and I thought it was a really good time. So taking the Pelham 1, 2, 3. I kind of want to rewatch watch the remake because just to see if it did better or worse or whatever. I put this like 3.5, maybe 4 stars. Depending on the day, if your mood, it might be 4, maybe even higher. So next up, I revisited Tyler's streaming pick from last week on Amazon Prime, The American Society of Magical Negroes.
Oh, okay.
I am not the right person to comment on
Nor
whether,
is Tyler.
on whether this movie is a net positive or a net negative in regards to racial equality, in regards to representation, advancement, or sensitivity of different races. So I don't try not to factor that into my actual rating. I could be completely off base with how I interpreted it. It could be a positive thing. It could be a negative thing. I just don't know, and it's not for me to say. All I can say is that it did seem like a little bit bad in that regard. Almost like he was trying to do this really strong social satire and like, look at this. This is how, society sees us. This is what you have to do just to survive. But it was still like kind of forcing all the black people in the movie to do the thing.
Yeah.
And then there was a subversion near the end that I just don't know if it was as impactful of enough of a turn to warrant everything that came before it, if that makes sense. So taking all that out of it, it's still pretty fun, has a unique concept. It plays out more or less in a predictable way. But what I really hope to take away from this is that Anne Lee Bogan, she's the romantic interest in this. She is delightful. I really hope that she comes to like more mainstream stuff because she's so fucking charming in this. Justice Smith is kind of it's a will they won't they sort of a relationship, but he can't because he's banned from doing that because of his job. And he's super she's super delightful in this. So Anne Lee Bogan, and it's AN-LI, Anne Lee. So I've never seen her before, but I was like, wow, she's so charismatic and charming. I really hope that she does more stuff. So my biggest gripe about the whole thing was that like the blowout climax at the end, which it's all kind of leading to, what's going to happen. It seemed, I don't know, very conveniently placed. Like it's like this had to happen, so we're going to make it happen, but it wouldn't really happen that way. And then also David Alan Grier is somebody I can never get enough of. I wish there was more David Alan Grier in it. So I give it like a 3 stars, and this is streaming on Amazon Prime. The American Society of Magical Negroes, 2024, this year. Since we watched, me and Brianna watched that movie with a really long title, we decided to watch another movie with a really long title, The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, directed by Guy Ritchie.
Talked about this too.
Yeah. This was super fun. Super fun. Maybe I was just in the right mood for this, but you cannot ignore the fact that it's Inglourious Bastards filtered through, Snatch. It's just the energy of Inglourious Bastards mixed with the setting and the place of Inglourious Bastards mixed with the energy of like classic Guy Ritchie stuff. Really fun. It's a little bit of a lull at the end of the second act before it kind of gets into the climax, but I mean, I'm nitpicking. When the action's popping off, there is really some really fun and entertaining action. It's like watching a video game. All these guys that are doing this, I don't know, like they're trying to destroy a ship, right?
Yeah.
Take down the ship, which is basically a supplier for the U-boats for the Nazi regime. And so they have to go sail across the ocean, make it into this harbor of some like neutral nation, and secretly sink this ship. And it's like the biggest beefcakes you'll ever see. It's Henry Cavill and what's the other guy's name? Alan Rickson.
Yeah.
Richson. He plays in
just Jack Reacher or something, right?
Yeah, he's in Reacher. He's in the new Reacher series. And his physique is unbelievable. Like he is mammoth. He is a freaking specimen. Those linen shirts are stretched across him like the head of a drum.
Yeah.
So
they're fighting for their life, keeping that shirt together.
Those buttons are they're sewed on with metal wire because they're so pulled so tight. But the crew he's a part of is chock full of like likable badass characters, and you just want to see them all get unleashed. There's like a demolitions guy. At one point, Alan Rickson pulls out a bow and arrow and starts killing people with the bow and arrow, and you're like, "Fuck is this?"
That's like his thing, right?
That's his thing. Yeah, they're like,
and then Jack Reacher guy is a knife guy.
no, that's well, he's also got the bow and arrow.
Oh, does he? Okay.
Yeah, he's a kind of a jack of all trades in that regard.
Analog killer.
Yeah. So it's not easy to upstage Henry Cavill. He's also super charismatic and just begs to be in the spotlight. But I think Alan Rickson does a good job there, especially in the beefcake department because he outshines him there. Eliza Gonzalez is magnetic, and the overall vibe is just a blast. So I would recommend people to watch this if you want to have a good time. I had to pay to rent this one, but it is streaming just about everywhere you can pay for rentals. We'll skip that one because I didn't actually watch the whole thing. I watched this weird. Well, I'll skip that one.
Okay.
It's a what Darren Lundberg of Nostalgia Cast calls a Mormon horror movie. It's called Lady in White from 1988.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm watching it for the Binge Movies Challenge. I'm gonna be on that show in a couple weeks, and it's streaming on Tubi. Go check it out if you want a PG horror movie that's actually surprisingly dark and surprisingly gritty. 1988 Lady in White streaming on Tubi. I won't say anything, just go in blind and watch it. It's actually pretty fun. But the last one I want to highlight is a new movie on Amazon Prime starring Awkwafina and John Cena called Jackpot. Yeah, Price is Right style. Have you heard anything about this?
I've seen the cover many times.
Do you know what the plot is? Okay, so it's kind of like The Purge.
Okay.
In a sense that like 10 years into the future, the United States goes into a Great Depression, and the California state government decides to do the Grand Lottery. They have the California Lottery, and then they have the Grand Lottery.
Okay.
The Grand Lottery is, in this case, $3.6 billion.
Oh.
It's huge. Like, it's rolled over. Like, it's tens of millions of dollars, but if somebody doesn't win each week, it rolls over just like the regular lottery does, and it becomes the Grand Lottery. The Grand Lottery becomes like this huge jackpot. So in this movie, the jackpot that they're fighting for is 3.6 million or something like that, billion. Well, the stipulation for it is that if you play and you win, you have, I want to say 24 hours or maybe even just from the morning until sundown. And any other citizen who's playing the game, who put their ticket in to play the game and did not win, now has the opportunity to kill you and take your jackpot.
Oh.
So it's
time to play the game.
So they basically, you have like these futuristic tickets that have your like a screen on it. You do your thumbprint, and then it takes a picture of your face. And then when the winner is drawn, it says, oh, Sarah Kim is the winner. And it shows your picture to everybody who played. And then 15 minutes after you win, the state government who runs this whole thing has a drone that follows you around and gives everybody your location every 15 minutes.
Oh.
So they can come find you and try to kill you.
Sounds like Self-Reliance.
Very similar to Self-Reliance. Yeah, exactly.
Except anybody can participate.
Yeah, pretty much. Angry Otter says it's almost like the Sliders episode with the lottery. I'm not sure.
This is Simpsons reference?
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. Tell me what that is, Angry. And yeah, he's absolutely right. If you could like this video, we were really bad about asking for engagement.
Like, subscribe is very important.
Share,
actually, please
comment.
Very
all that stuff.
Engage with us.
Yeah,
we're running out of time.
But anyway, yeah, we're running out of time. But so she wins, and the thing about it is that she doesn't even know she's playing. She's borrowing somebody's clothes, and she pulls out the ticket out of the pocket. And like, what is this?
Okay.
And it takes her thumbprint and takes a picture of her like this. And then,
interesting.
And now she wins, and she goes, "What does this say? I won. What did I win?" And then everybody who's around her goes, oh shit, it's her, because they see the picture on their ticket and they're in the same room as her. They don't know the location. They're just seeing her on the thing. She's wearing the same gold outfit she was wearing before, and now it's on. They're all trying to kill her. The only stipulation is no guns. So knives, bludgeoning,
Oh my god,
baseball bats, special weapons that are like piercing guns that have like a cattle prod, gun.
Yeah.
And it's directed by Paul Feige. Feige. I don't know.
Oh yeah, from he did Bridesmaids.
Yeah, Bridesmaids and like Spy and all those like
Paul Feig, I think.
I think it's Feig, but I've heard other people like pronounce it with like it's a 2-syllable word. Anyways, he directed it. You're kind of gonna get some fun. It's gonna be not so serious. It's gonna be really goofy.
It has John Cena.
It's got John Cena
and Aquafina.
So naturally, what you would imagine happens in this world is that there's a cottage industry pops up that are lottery protection agents.
Oh, okay.
And John Cena says, if you give me 10% of your jackpot, I'll protect you and make sure you stay alive. Mm-hmm. And he just shows up and is like
10% of 3.6 billion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking I would probably ask for more than that, to be honest. And then Simu Liu is in it, and
come on, John Cena. And
Simu Liu's, he runs the corporate lottery protection agency that they have like all the best technology, and they can like send drone strikes in.
He's more of like a lower tier protection agency.
Yeah, John Cena's just working on his own.
Oh, okay.
And
I'm just a guy.
He's got morals. He goes, he wants to, like when he's beating people up and stuff, he'll take the time to, if they're like laying on their face or laying on their back, he'll take the time to flip them over before he leaves the room, because he's like, I don't want them to choke on their tongue or puke later.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to kill these people. I just don't want them to kill you. So he's got morals, and like before he throws somebody out of a car, he puts a helmet on them and then throws them out the car. So there's a funny dynamic there. And I will say this, I sometimes find Awkwafina very draining. Her energy and that just kind of same character she always plays is very annoying to me sometimes. It's the lowest version of that in this movie. There's a couple of lines that don't land and a couple like jokes that are like, oh, isn't that so clever? But other than that, for the most part, she's pretty delightful. So this is called Jackpot. Just came out this year. It's a fun time together at night. You could do a Friday night movie or even like a midweek movie. Something fun to watch with significant other or friends. I don't know if this is so much kid friendly, but it's not kid friendly. So
a lot of fucking.
No fucking.
A lot of saying fucking.
There's no.
Is it PG-13?
I don't know. Let's see.
Is there much cursing in it? Is there like a lot of violence in it?
I mean, it's like
the nature of the story sounds violent. So
it is, but it's played for fun.
Okay.
It's like a lot of people getting kicked in the balls and stuff like that.
Ow, my balls.
Let's see if it even has a rating, because it's an Amazon production. It never went into
a Prime release.
Yeah, it never went into theaters, so I don't even know if it has a rating on it. That's rated R.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I guess some people do get killed in fantastic fashion. Oh yeah, and I forgot Machine Gun Kelly's in it for a minute.
Oh, great.
And he's playing a douchebag version of himself.
Oh,
so himself.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's they take the piss out of him as well, because
is he playing himself? Oh no, you say a version of himself.
No, he's playing Machine Gun Kelly.
Oh, okay.
But it's like a heightened douchebag. Like when he shows up, he's wearing like a lavender purple shag jacket with a lavender turtleneck on it, and like white pants with sunflowers on them. And it's like, what is like at one?
Who's this guy?
There's a funny line where she finds out that he has a panic room. And she goes, "What does Machine Gun Kelly have to panic about? Running out of space for tattoos on his body?" And that line gets repeated a couple times in the movie, and he shows up, and you're like, yeah, I guess he doesn't have much space left on his body. But he's got a panic room, and the whole panic room sequence is pretty funny. So, yeah, this is low fare, not intellectual, Oscar winning stuff. But man, it is.
You don't gotta think too hard.
No, it's a real fun time. I recommend this. Jackpot.
Okay,
that's it.
Cool. I have a few.
Good.
I've been catching up with some stream picks. Sad that Tyler's not here. Because for the first part of our show, like the beginning of our show, there was a time in which I was writing, or not writing, but like typing in my notes, both of your guys' stream picks.
Oh, okay.
And essentially creating a watch list for myself.
Oh, nice. Okay.
For the movies that I hadn't watched that you stream picked. And I stopped at some point. I stopped the last movie that I put in there is I'm Thinking of Ending Things.
Oh, okay.
And
a while ago.
so I've been going through them and sort of boldening each one that I have watched. So the ones that I have watched that I think I have talked about here, Young Adult from Tyler, The Clovich Killer,
Yep.
and we reviewed Llewyn Davis, Villains, TFW No GF.
Oh, that's why you're going back. Okay.
Yeah. I did watch Palm Springs.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever talked about it.
That's a super fun movie.
And then, yeah, there's still I did watch Blind Spotting. I did talk about that a while ago.
Blind Spotting rules.
And I did watch Good Boys. I gotta go through this again. But yeah, so there's still a lot left.
Are those your streaming picks?
No.
Okay.
Those are movies that I have already caught up on.
Okay.
But I did more this week. So my first one, I caught up with The Dirties.
Wow.
Streaming on Prime. Prime and Tubi.
Cool.
This is directed by Matt Johnson, director of Project Avalanche and the Blackberry movie, and starring in the Blackberry movie as well. And he is also starring in The Dirties. I can't remember. I assume he's in Project Avalanche as well.
Yeah, he is.
And The Dirties is a much darker kind of storyline. It's still very much like a comedy.
Yeah.
With a very kind of twisted subplot and then twisted sort of ending, and is essentially about these two high school kids who are really into movies and making movies. That they have this one person that you never see following them around with a camera, and he's only referred to by name a couple times, but you never see him.
No.
And it's almost like to a certain point where it's like, is there somebody there, or is it just like we're just watching it?
It blurs the line a couple times.
Because they're recording everything, like literally everything. They're recording them getting bullied, and the bullies don't acknowledge the cameraman at all.
Yeah.
So these kids are they are bullied by this gang in high school call themselves the Dirties, and they want to make a movie about them. Essentially taking vengeance on the Dirties.
Yeah.
And they themselves are playing the Dirties. And they are in like a film class, and they show part of the movie that they've made so far to everybody. And they go to their professor, their teacher, and they show them what they've made so far. And it's like very violent and
super violent,
not school appropriate. And the teacher is like, you gotta change some things about this. And you're like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? This is a movie. We're making a movie, right?
Yeah.
And then Matt Johnson gets the idea of wanting to, like, what if we did it for real? What if we came to the school with a gun and we killed them for real, for like the movie?
Yeah.
And then his friend is like not totally getting it, like that he's actually serious about doing that. And he's like, yeah, but we would like make it like it would be like a movie, right? It wouldn't be like real. And like, no, like we'd come to school with a gun and we do it for real.
Yeah.
And you're kind of watching the movie, kind of waiting for that moment, for that what he's talking about to come to fruition.
Yeah.
And then they eventually, there's some conflicts between the two of them because the friend sees that he's kind of losing his mind a little bit, and he is also kind of getting the attention of
It's getting popular, more or less.
of a girl, and kind of being included into a different group of people.
Yeah.
A group of kids that they didn't normally associate with. And so it's like, well, now I'm with you and you're just acting weird, and you're just getting weirder and crazier and like a little bit more unhinged of a person. And I mean, you can kind of see where it's, you kind of know where it's going to go, and they try to stage a school shooting, but then eventually it just becomes a school shooting.
Yeah. It's a bold movie. The need to actual like broad strokes of the
yeah, it is, and it's a kind of a, I don't want to say it's meta, but it is a little bit meta in a sense. But it was a very unique, very dark kind of comedy found footage movie. Much like, Project Avalanche is also like a found footage movie as well.
Mm-hmm.
The only non-found footage movie he's made is the Blackberry.
Yeah.
The Blackberry movie. But it's crazy to see his progression in movies, to go from something like this so low budget, even though it doesn't seem that way because there's a ton of extras.
Yeah.
Tons of kids, and they have a school hallway available to them. I assume they shot during the summertime.
I was gonna say, I wouldn't be surprised if he just used those scenes in an actual school.
Maybe, yeah. But yeah, Dirty is streaming on Amazon Prime, Tubi. Definitely, if you're into like sort of not like a found footage horror movie, but found footage movie about kids who get bullied in high school, and then they sort of kind of take their own sort of vengeance on them.
And they're also movie buffs as well.
Yeah, they're big.
His scene where he's showing the Malkovich on the piano, laying on the piano doing the Malkovich is so hard to watch.
Yeah.
Like these are this don't show that video to your class, dude.
It's rough.
Yeah, you're just asking to get put in a locker.
Yeah. So that's the Dirties. Recommend Amazon Prime, Tubi. Next stream pick comes from I believe listener Adam.
Oh, cool.
From eons ago.
Oh, from a long time ago?
From a long time ago.
Not Adam.
Plops himself. This is Body Bags.
Oh.
Streaming on Amazon Prime.
Tyler also streamed it too.
Yeah, like the week after.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Tubi and Peacock and Shudder and Pluto.
Wait a second. He listened to Adam back then, but he won't listen to us.
He did a lot of stuff
Curious.
back then.
Curious.
And he'll listen to other people. And he'll watch the beautiful society of magical Negroes or whatever.
The society, it's so beautiful. People are saying it's beautiful.
Yeah. But he won't listen to us. We're streaming a movie every week, at least 15.
Maybe it's too much for him.
I don't know. Just pick one. Just throw a rock. And
I tried to like specifically say, this is for you, Tyler. This one's for you. You should watch this one. Forget all the other ones I talked about. This is for you. Anyways.
So Body Bag streaming everywhere, apparently. Amazon, Tubi, Peacock, Shudder, Pluto. Is an anthology horror movie collection of 3 stories with a stacked cast. John Carpenter, Tom Arnold, Toby Hooper, Robert Carradine, Wes Craven, Sam Raimi, and Mark Hamill, and Stacy Keach, I believe, Greg Nicotero, bunch of people, just a bunch of people.
I like the Stacy Keach segment.
Yeah, and so this is 3 stories, and John Carpenter plays basically like the crypt keeper, and he's or Elvira type of person where he's in a morgue, he looks dead, and he's going through telling you the stories. He's guiding you through these 3 different stories, and the first one is like a late night shift, like at a gas station, and the one of the workers, it's like a reveal a little bit. There's a serial killer who's
that was a good segment. I like that one.
He's like undead or something, and then he gets squished by a car. I don't know. That was my least favorite one. I didn't like that one that much.
I like the reveal of it.
My favorite ones was the Stacy Keach, he's a dude who's losing his hair. He's an older man, and he's very emasculated from going bald, from male pattern baldness, and he does the Trump comb over thing. It looks very wispy, and he sees an ad on television for this new treatment that can solve your hair loss, and he goes in, and it's he gets it. He wakes. They do the treatment. They wrap like the bandages around his head. And the doctor's like, so when you go to sleep tonight, and you wake up, you'll have a full head of hair or whatever. And then he goes to sleep, wakes up, and the gauze is like bigger, like this is bulging out of his head. Takes it off, and he's got like Fabio locks. And it's like, that's what you were looking for?
Well, you could cut it after that.
I guess so.
It's like Homer with a minoxidil.
Yeah, you were looking for like these locks that are just down to your waist.
Yeah.
Insane. And it's crazy that was the result.
Yeah.
But then it turns into kind of like a Halloween 3 situation where it's like, it's not just hair that's in your head.
No, that ain't hair, baby.
No. And then
that's no moon.
It's he proceeds to start not feeling well, starts growing hair in out of weird places like a wolf man. And it gets kind of crazy, and I enjoyed that one. There were some kind of funny effects that they did in that for like there's an alien element to that, and you can there's some like little effects with the hair they did that was kind of cool. So I like that one. I think I like that one the most.
There's a really good pairing of that one. It's this Estonian short horror film, 14 minutes, called Bad Hair. I'll put that into the link onto the into the show notes because it's real similar to that, but it's like made in 2019 or something.
Oh, okay. And then the last one, starring Mark Hamill as a baseball player. Like I don't know if he's MLB baseball player, but he is like a pitcher or something. And he is driving home from a game one night, gets in a car accident because he swerves and almost hits a deer or something, crashes into a tree, and then these two guys come over to see if he's all right, and then the shot of him, he just has this big shard of glass in his eyeball.
Yeah,
and he doesn't die. It cuts to him in the hospital with
somehow
bandage over his eye, and he also does a kind of a experimental procedure in which they do an eyeball transplant, and there's a reveal later of where the eye came from. But basically, after he gets the eyeball, he starts experiencing headaches and seeing things that aren't necessarily there. And he himself starts kind of like Frankenhooker, where like the body parts of another person become like take over your brain. Where it's like, how does that make sense?
The memories are stored in the eyeball.
Yeah. And he starts taking on the personality of the person where the eyeball came from.
Yeah.
And he starts going crazy and violent, and then he goes to the doctor. He's like, where did this eyeball come from? He's like a sweaty, greasy mess by that point. And that was fun. It was like a kind of, I don't want to say it's poltergeisty, but a little bit, or like a Child's Play with the possession type of thing. But or no, Amityville House. Amityville Horror?
Amityville Horror, yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like that a little bit.
2008, Jessica Alba had a horror movie called The Eye, which was basically that. It was a serial killer donated their eyes to her, and same thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Was that Hayden Christensen in that as well? Chris Ray was in there.
Parker Posey.
Pocket full of Posey.
Oba Babatunde.
Ah.
No, I think you might be confusing him with Oba Babatunde.
I do.
And Rade Zabergia.
Rade Zabergia.
Former guest on this show.
Yeah.
Called in, bad connection, but.
Oh, yeah. Nice goat.
Yeah, it's a nice goat.
And so, yeah, that's streaming in a lot of places. Like I said, Amazon, Peacock, Shudder, Pluto, Tubi. Good Halloween watch, I think.
Isn't John Carpenter like the guy announcing?
Yeah, he's I said
the coroner, right?
Yeah, he's the quote unquote coroner.
Yeah.
He's the Elvira or Crypt Keeper of this anthology. And then finally,
the reason why it felt like a poltergeist is Toby Hooper directed The Eye.
Oh,
that segment.
That's funny.
Yeah.
And then finally, catching up with the stream pick from Pete last week, new on Netflix as of last week, is Rebel Ridge, streaming on Netflix.
Yeah.
And I think much like how I felt about The Killer from last year, is like, I feel like this is this year's that movie.
Really?
It's like that. It's just a cool movie.
Yeah, cool vibes.
It's just cool. It was because I love a story like you underestimate somebody, you know, and kind of like an underdog story or a revenge type story, very much like a First Blood, kind of plot, but I don't know how you could underestimate fucking that guy, Aaron Pierre.
I know, dude.
You're like, you see how big he is?
He's a big fucker.
You see, he was in the military. It doesn't even matter if he was in a special part of the military.
Yeah. I think he's on the Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
That's such a great reveal.
That whole scene was so satisfying to watch because the combat felt it didn't feel over the top. It felt like real.
Yeah, they didn't seem like they did. They pulled frames. Didn't do like they did creative editing. It really felt like he was just kicking those guys' ass.
Yeah, it did. And then there's a final sort of sequence in that same location, which is also equally badass as well. And the opening scene of this movie, it's like it already sets you up for like, I already fuck these guys.
You're 3 minutes into the movie and your blood is boiling.
And like, you fucking out. You kick their ass right now.
I know when it's the like scene started, you're like, it just starts. There's no setup. You don't know who the guy is. You don't know where he's going. It's all revealed throughout the course of the scene.
Yeah.
Jeremy Saulnier does not waste any time in this.
No, and he doesn't go too deep into like the plot of like with his cousin or anything like that. You just hear it offhand, and you only see him once in person.
Yeah.
Like they only see each other once in person in the movie.
Yeah.
And then you hear what happens. And at first it's like, is he lying or is he just trying to manipulate him?
Yeah.
I'm like, or is that true? And I'm like, well, if that's true, then he was the fucking behind it. Right. And the only thing I think was like the stakes of the town itself, like the reasoning or the motives behind
Why the cops are corrupt.
Yeah, it's like this town is broke, and it's like, is that it?
Yeah,
and like
it's all it needs. That's all they need.
Yeah. Why don't you just move?
Yeah. Well, the cops don't want to give their power.
Yeah, true. Also, there's like another element, a layer I think with the sheriff himself, like something he did. He essentially was like acquitted for or something. I feel like I caught something, but yeah, Rebel Ridge. I was like, I could easily rewatch this movie. It is for sure. It is so fun and satisfying to watch, and it scratched an itch I didn't know I had. Like, it just like hit that spot, and I was like, oh, I didn't know that was there.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah.
Delightful.
Like Heather says, though, it's a shame it wasn't in theaters.
Yeah, that would have been cool. It would have been cool, and it's very tame. I mean, as far as a Saulnier movie,
yeah.
I mean, compared to Green Room, this is like the least violent.
Yeah.
I don't know about Blue Ruin, if that is more or less violent than Green Room.
It's the violence is spread out, but it's just as intense.
Yeah. Or Murder Party. Murder Party is more comical violence.
Murder Party is more comical and also
silly.
It's
silly, goofy.
Yeah, it's brutal. I mean, I don't know. I feel like Blue Ruin has like a relatable sadness to it, and Green Room
because it follows like a kind of just an average guy, right?
Yeah, and then Green Room is like it has a tension and like this fear component that just never stops throughout the whole thing, and this is more like a social injustice frustration. Yeah,
I wanted to see more of his like, because like the allusion to his like training, whereas like they found a different purpose for me in the States, and they talk about like the specific division of the Marines, where it's like, shit, I want to know more about that. I want to see more of that type of stuff, and I want to join. I want to.
Can he teach me?
Because I was like, damn, this guy's badass. Yeah, it was the badass of the year, maybe.
I think so. And he came. I mean, I know Aaron Pierre's been in a lot of other stuff. I just haven't seen much of those titles. But I think solidified himself as like, this guy's a fucking star.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see more with him in it.
Like another Michael Jai White.
I was like, is this guy got like gray eyes?
He's got like wolf eyes.
They're just very light brown eyes. Yeah. And man, these piercing eyes.
I know.
Did you know that John Boyega was set to be?
Yeah.
Like they were like in production.
Really?
Yeah, they were in production. He didn't show up on set one day, and they went to his hotel to kind of retrieve him, and he checked out and left.
What?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And I know Boyega's he is being more specific about the roles he's taking, and I don't know if it's just like, well, if this is just going to be a Netflix movie, I don't want to be a part of it.
They didn't call him like, hey, where are you?
Yeah, they did, and he's like, I left.
I'm gone.
I'm hanging out with Joaquin Phoenix.
I know. It's like that's like even worse. It's like even worse. Already like shooting, and you're like, I'm not gonna go.
Yeah. So now Aaron Pierre is like, yeah, he's now the guy, and fuck Boyega in that situation.
Well, honestly, it feels better
Yeah.
It feels bad. Because I feel like this guy, he's got the presence of somebody you wouldn't want to fuck with. Boyega, I feel like, would have more of an unassuming presence. Like, you could underestimate him.
Yeah.
Sorry, Boyega, but I don't know. I feel like that would be a miscast for a movie like this. His performance in this, like when he's talking to him right before that first scene, when he takes him down, and he's like that shit-eating grin, and it is.
Don Johnson, phenomenal scumbag in this.
Yeah.
And also, who's the other guy, the actor in it? He plays like his right hand, Don Johnson's right hand man, Emery Cohen.
Oh yeah.
I saw an interaction with Paul Walter Hauser about Emery Cohen in this movie, and he said that Paul Walter Hauser was up for this part as well, and he passed on this part. And he's very glad he did because he saw Emery Cohen doing just a phenomenal scumbag performance.
Yeah. I'm surprised that like he didn't just. I mean, I understand why he didn't just like kill them. It's like at the time I'm like, just like beat the fuck out of him.
Yeah, you're of two minds. You're like, don't do it because then you become the villain.
Yeah.
But at the same time, God, you want him to.
I know.
And the finale is like, oh, that's how it ends.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
And I don't want to say anything, but you're like, you're like, how the fuck is he gonna get out of this? And is there redemption available? Can he ever escape?
Yeah, and starring also Roy from The Office, and
Oh yeah, David Dimon,
and the girl that's helping him
Anna Sophia Robb
is she played in The Way Back as the sort of love interest, much younger back then.
That and Bridge to Terabithia as well.
Yeah. So yeah, Rebel Ridge, super high. Recommend for myself.
Yeah.
I recommend this to me to watch again. Breaking news: Rebel Ridge received actually a 12-minute standing ovation from me in my living room.
At my living room.
Yeah.
Very good.
But yeah, anything else?
No, I think that's it. We had a great long show considering we only had two of us here.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tyler, I hope you're doing well. Hope we see you next week. It'll be sad we aren't going to be able to hear your take on Do the Right Thing, which is coming up very soon here.
Yeah.
If you're on the YouTube, just give us about 15 minutes. We're going to take a quick break and order some boba, and then and then we'll come back for our review of Do the Right Thing. If you're in podcast land, that episode will drop on Wednesday. So until next time. Oh, I forgot. I have to thank the cool SCR duties. We got some in the chat. Heather. So yeah, thank you to our cool SCR duties. That's over on Patreon. Javier, Heather, Michael, Steven, and Chris. And I think Steven is in chat too. He was for a hot second. The Maple Syrup Don.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to support us on Patreon, you can hit us up on patreon.com/middleclassfilmclass, or just tune into the YouTube. That is what we are looking for. What is that?
It was me.
Oh, okay.
Our mouses are intertwined.
Our mouse is interlinked.
Yeah.
So anyways, thank you so much for joining us. And thank you to Isaac Florentine, director of Hounds of War, that's coming out on video on demand this Friday, September 20th. Go give it a look. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/MCFC podcast, and send us an email, mcfcpodcast@gmail.com.
And follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Middle Class Film Class, and on Twitter at Podcast MCFC, and leave us a voicemail at
209-630-7010.
Yeah, and like and subscribe to us on YouTube, please. If you're a listener and you're not subscribed, please subscribe.
That's right. See you next time.
See ya.
Time for class.
Class is in session!
Roll call.
Bueller.
I'm gonna be late for class.
Bueller.
Am I hallucinating here? Just what in the hell do you think you're doing?
I'm late for class.
You are mine now. You belong to me.
Did you study for the test?
No more complaining. No more Mr. Kim left to go to the bathroom. Nothing. There is no bathroom.
Hello, classmates, and welcome to another episode of Middle Class Film Class Movie Review Edition. And my name is Joseph.
Oh, hi, Joseph.
Oh, yeah, hi. I was going to go right to the trailer.
Yeah. And I'm Peter.
And Tyler's not here.
Yeah.
Where is
Tyler's
he?
gone.
He's gone.
Where, oh, where has my Tyler Noe gone?
Where are you, Tyler? You're fixing sprinklers.
Perfect.
Yeah, so it's just me and young Pete here.
Yeah.
young buck over here, the youngest.
Yeah. I'm in my prime. Feel it every day. My bones not crackling.
What do they say? The
Joints not popping.
38's the new 37.
Sure.
Yeah.
I feel it. Feel it.
But yeah. And this week the Wheel of Destiny landed on my pick. Do the Right Thing.
Ooh-wee. It's gonna be a scorcher today.
Universal Pictures presents a new film from Spike Lee.
Good morning, Miss Mother Sister.
Now, Mookie, don't work too hard today. The man says it's gonna be hot as the devil.
I've been here 25 years. LaSalle's famous pizzeria is here to stay.
Trust me.
Pizzeria. It's a pizzeria.
Pizzeria.
Hey, Sal, you got the brothers from the war here.
What did you say?
You want brothers on the wall? Love. Get your own place. You can do what you want to do.
What I tell you about that noise? What I tell you about them pictures?
You talk to him, brother. Talk to him.
You the man. No, you the man. No, you the man.
No, you the man.
The first time you turn your back, boom. Right here, man, in the back. Y'all take a chill. You like to sign a petition to boycott Sal's famous pizzeria?
Hear me, what you ought to do is boycott that no-good barber that messed up your head.
Messed up your hair.
You know, deep down inside, I think we wish you were black.
Who told you to step on my sneakers? Who told you to walk on my side of the block? Who told you to be in my neighborhood? I own this brownstone. Who told you to buy a brownstone on my block, in my neighborhood, on my side of the street? I can't even hear myself think.
From Spike Lee.
He actually did some editing for this.
Director of School Days, and She's Gotta Have It.
He's gotta have it.
She likes it. She loves it. She gotta have it.
Doctor,
Come on, what?
always do the right thing.
Hell yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
That's it?
That's it.
I got it. I'm gone.
Oh, that was an interesting little end there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Do the Right Thing, written and directed by Spike Lee, starring Spike Lee as Mookie.
You'd think so, but it's like all the posters says it's a Danny Aiello movie.
Weird.
He's the first build too.
A Danny Aiello movie, a Spike Lee joint.
Yeah.
Do the Right Thing. But yeah, so it's like Mookie is sort of the main character, although there wasn't much of a protagonist.
I guess the only
a protagonistic, is that a word? Role.
Yeah.
But he is kind of the one that we are following the most throughout. And then second to that would be like Sal of Sal's Pizzeria.
Yeah.
And his family, and then Radio Raheem, played by Bill Nunn. Yeah, so written, directed Spike Lee, starring Danny Aiello, Ossie Davis as Demea, Ruby Dee as Mother's Sister. That would just be my aunt, I think.
My mother's sister.
Richard Edson as Vito, a young Giancarlo Esposito, and one of the most charismatic roles that I've ever seen him in.
It took me like 10 minutes of him on screen to be like, oh shit, that's him.
As Bugging Out.
Yeah.
Spike Lee as Mookie. John Turturro as Pino, Paul Benjamin as ML, Frankie Faison as Coconut Sid, Robin Harris as Sweet Dick Willie,
I liked his character.
Joey Lee as Jade, Miguel Sandoval as Officer Pontes, Rosie Perez as the gyrator in the opening sequence, and
First movie.
and Mookie's love interest Tina
And Baby Mama.
Yeah. And Sam Jackson as the radio DJ, Mr. Senor Love Daddy.
And Martin Lawrence in a really small role too.
Tiny young Martin Lawrence.
Yeah.
So quite a cast in this movie. A lot of people.
Who's who?
Of what's going on in this one block in Brooklyn, and this one very, very hot day in summertime, following these people of a neighborhood full of different races, all on one street, trying to just get through this terribly hot day. And as people in California, I feel like our Sacramento summers can be particularly brutal. A little bit more humid over there, so I can imagine it'd be
a lot more humid over there.
It can be a little bit more sweaty.
Yeah, we get up to like 115, 118 sometimes.
And it's dry.
But it's dry as shit, so it's miserable to be outside.
It's hell, yeah.
But
at least it's not.
The humidity is a whole other thing.
I know. If it's 100 degrees at
100 anything.
30% humidity.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And it gets higher and higher. I can't imagine.
And the neighborhood's called Bed-Stuy.
Okay, that's the shirt that Radio Rahim wears.
Bedford Stoyevstunt.
Yeah.
Stoyevstunt.
And my history with Do the Right Thing is that first time I watched it, it was for a film class, like a film and society class. And we watched kind of like this. We watched a movie every week throughout that class, starting from Fritz Lang's Metropolis, and then eventually ending. I don't know if we ended. We watched Wall-E. No, we didn't watch Wall-E. We watched Eternal Sunshine.
Oh, okay.
And I think that was the most
taking those all the time.
Yeah. I think this is the class after I was done. They watched Wall-E.
Okay. Did you watch it in class or it was assigned viewing?
It was assigned viewing.
And then you talk about it in the class?
Yeah. Discuss it in the class. So it's like this in a classroom. But yeah, we went in chronological order year-wise. That's why we started at Metropolis. And so this is where I watched this movie for the first time. I watched it again on my own at some other time, just because I found it very entertaining, a very well made and
high
energy, entertaining movie that just happens to tackle some heavy subjects, but it does so in kind of a very, I say digestible way, a very accessible way.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Similar to Black Klansman, also Spike Lee, where it's it's a very heavy subject, but it's presented in a way that can be easily consumed. And the writing and the performances of this movie is particularly, I think, interesting because it's not like people don't talk this way normally. I don't think
we're not from the East Coast, so
no, but just the way that the things that they said and the way that they said them to each other, just someone's talking constantly, someone's ending a sentence, someone's picking it up, someone's ending a sentence, someone's picking it up.
It's like a play, like a David Mamet play or something.
Yeah, it felt very play-ish. There was stages, or the scenes that had their own stages,
and there's not much expansive world building either. I mean, it's just this one neighborhood, really just one street. It feels like.
Yeah, and it's pretty much what it is.
Inside the pizzeria. Interior of a couple of people's apartments.
Yeah,
and
the red wall where those guys are hanging out with Sweet Dick Willie.
Yep, there's the red wall, and then just the street.
Yeah, the stoops and the street. So yeah, I know Tyler said that he's seen it before. What do you think? No, he's not here.
I really wanted to hear Tyler's take on this.
There is no racial bigotry here.
I have a feeling that we get a lot of drops from Tyler in this one.
Perhaps. Those cops didn't do it. Yeah. They didn't seem so bad.
Yeah, there's no heroes in this one. Well, except for the cops.
There's bad guys on both sides.
Tyler, how could you say that?
I can't believe you.
Yeah.
But Pete, this is your first time viewing, and you've seen other Spike Lee movies, I assume. You've seen Black Klansman.
Black Klansman for the show, and Inside Man.
Inside Man.
That's it.
Okay.
By Spike Lee's a big blind spot for me.
Yeah.
I've only seen Citizen Kane from Orson Welles too. I haven't seen even anything he's acted in either. I haven't seen The Third Man or any of his famous stuff. So Spike Lee's a big blind spot. I fondly think of Spike Lee. I think he's he's like a message director most of the time. His stuff is meant to be putting something in front of people's faces that needs to be seen, which I totally respect that. And all I've seen about this is that it's hot, it's wet, it's sweaty,
and angry,
and there's a lot of like racial tension. Yeah, racial tension. So my thoughts about Do the Right Thing is that this is supremely entertaining the entire time. There's really only like maybe one or two characters I didn't enjoy seeing on screen. When they came back, I'm like, oh, the girl with the flipped up bucket hat.
Oh yeah, and that little gang of with like Martin Lawrence's gang.
Yeah, she kind of runs with them sometimes, but she's like calling up to what's his name, from the stoop.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like she's kind of annoying, and I didn't really get a whole lot of like net benefit from her. But just about everybody else, really, they have unique voices. They have interesting additions to the story, additions to the tension and the plot and all this stuff. And everybody is really just, I feel like, having a good time. Even if it's like a lot of the interactions are angry because it's so hot and everybody, I mean, it's like, remove the race tension out of it. It's fucking hot. You're just having a bad time when it's that hot outside, and you're going to have, I don't know, any little thing can set you off. At the same time, though, there is some stuff that I'm like, what's Giancarlo Esposito's character's name again? Bugging. Why is he so stuck on getting a black man on the wall of this pizzeria, a private business?
Right.
It's an Italian restaurant run by Italians, giving you Italian food with iconic Italian Americans on the wall. It's like Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, John Travolta, Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
All these Italian Americans. Well, it's like, what do you expect to be up there? And these aren't people that have eaten in the restaurant. These are just people that he looks up to. Why is it he makes it his mission to go? And it was like he was very, very much giving off like Keegan-Michael Key energy in this movie. I feel like Keegan-Michael Key took a big bit of inspiration from Bugging Out for his like the high energy characters that he portrays in a lot of movies, and Key and Peele as well. But chill the fuck out, dude. This is why all of this blew up, was because of guys on the wall. And he's like just looking for somebody to join his righteous cause, the stupidest righteous cause you can do. They're trying to attach like this like a significance to what he wants, and I don't understand like what the fucking point of it all is in that sense. So that makes what the tragedy that happens at the end that much more frustrating, because it's like, dude, you brought this guy into this. You got Radio Raheem into this, and yeah, he didn't like him in the first place, but you got him into the mess, and it like raised the tensions even higher. You made it even worse than it needed. You could just say, shut the fuck up. And it's like, hey, I'll bring you a picture of Malcolm X or Martin Luther King and say, how about this? How about you put these on the wall alongside with them, or whatever. And even if he says no at that point, it's like, either shut up and get out of there, or just live with the fact that he's exactly what he said. You want to put the pictures up, go own your own business. Do whatever you want in your own business. So, when the killing happens, the police killing, I'm like, oh my God, these fucking cops again. These guys.
These fucking guys.
These fucking monstrous, blonde, mustachioed.
Joe and Schmo, what?
Yeah.
So they're brothers, huh?
Yeah. I love that interaction. That was so funny. And at the beginning, when that whole thing happens, when they Martin Lawrence and his friends
fire hydrant,
shoot the fire hydrant at the Cadillac.
Yeah.
I loved that scene. It was so fun. And the police show up out of nowhere, Johnny on the spot, and they don't take the dude's side because he's being a prick.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, cool. They're actually showing like these cops are reasonable people. You're like, hey, don't be a prick.
Yeah.
Get the hell out of here. Just keep driving, my guy. But then they come back and they're just the worst.
Right.
And it was just like the death was so senseless.
And
I think like it doesn't feel like a Hollywood movie, because a Hollywood movie, there would be some meaning to the death. There would be some sort of a like, well, what do we learn from this whole thing? And that there's a lot to learn from it. I'm not saying there isn't, but it's almost just like the death was so senseless, and it started from this fight that meant nothing. It was so like minuscule that you as an audience member, when you're watching it, you feel just how powerless the people feel about it. they're like, fuck, man, Radio Raheem's dead. He's dead. Nothing's gonna bring him back for what? For this. Mm-hmm. And their rage is so furious. The rage is so furious that they just direct it at the person who's standing right in front of them.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, who really started this? It was fucking Bugging Out.
Mm-hmm.
Bugging Out started this whole, thing. And I don't think anybody on the block would agreed with him. They're just like, yeah, shut the hell up. Let him run his pizzeria the way he wants to run his pizzeria. We ain't gonna boycott nothing. We eat here every day. But it doesn't matter. And the fact that Mookie is the one that started the riot, that broke my heart. Because Sal treats Mookie like a son. Mm-hmm. He lets him fuck off at work. He wants him to do right. He wants to pay him a fair wage. He wants to, when his son's trying, John Turturro's character is trying to find, always kick him out, and why we need this guy, and blah, 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 and what's the whole point of this, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. He's like, would you shut up?
Lola?
Yeah, you too, Lola.
Somebody must be coming in slowly.
Yeah. Slowly but surely. Making their way into the house.
Just enter the house.
The guard dogs are on fire right now.
She heard the door, the car door close.
Well, producer Justice doesn't know how to calm her down either.
Yeah.
He is probably panicking right now. Oh my God, they're just barking. They're upstairs. They're recording right now. But
okay, they're inside.
All right, mission accomplished.
One more for good measure.
Yeah. So what was I talking about? Or shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Everybody's telling him to shut the fuck up, and they're not joining his tirade. But then when the riot happens, it's just like the anger is so prevalent. Mm-hmm. It's almost like the heat exacerbates the whole situation. And then the fact that their friend was just senselessly killed exacerbates the situation. They all know that nothing is going to happen from it because what the hell are you going to do against police violence like that? Mm-hmm. It's like all this stuff. It's just like this perfect like nebulous of frustration and anger. And Sal's is the only place that gets trashed. And it's just so fucking heartbreaking.
Yeah. So your initial thoughts?
My initial thoughts is that it's really complex, the emotions that come from it. And I loved it.
Oh, okay.
I'm really glad that I watched it, and I want to watch it again.
Yeah.
There's very shocking things in it, and Spike Lee, I mean, he was a really young director at the time. He'd only done like 2 or 3 movies before this.
I know, and him being in it, it's like, that's the director of this movie?
I loved him. I loved his character, too. He's so nonchalant.
Yeah.
He's just kind of flipping around.
Chilling, just kind of
I wanted to come home and get a shower real quick.
Yeah.
Like, aren't you supposed to be at work? Hey, I'm working. Leave me alone. And he's just chilling. He's going to visit his baby mama and stuff. And it's like, he's not a great guy, but he's also not a shithead. And then when he starts the riot, you're just like, dude, why? I wanted to like you so much. But I also understand the anger and I understand the frustration. It's just like, why does it have to be Sal?
Yeah, I mean, Sal doesn't really help himself either.
No, he doesn't. he's
albeit they obviously bring the conflict into his place, mm-hmm. but his reactions obviously it's just like a back and forth.
It really
just
is.
Like
it's a
building thing.
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't think anybody's the hero in this, and I don't think anybody's the outright villain, except for the cops.
Yeah.
Cops are clearly the outright villain.
Well, ACAB,
Yeah. So I don't know. It's a complex movie, and I'm glad that we watched it.
Yeah, and presented in such a entertaining way that has like rewatchability. It's not like I don't want to put myself through that again.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. It's that it's building to something, mm-hmm. but at the same time, you have like Come and See's building to something.
Yeah,
and that's a depressing ass movie that
it's just relentless misery.
Yeah, it's like this one is like it's fun, it's upbeat, there's excitement, there's whatever. And it's like I really liked that Spike Lee doesn't spell it out for you. It's like you're not getting an easy answer here. And then the epilogue at the end is like this great quote about violence and oppression from Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. Like 2 opposing views to it that both are essentially saying similar things in very different ways. And it's like it's life. There's no easy answers.
And yeah, they have the same goal but 2 different paths to achieve it. They can't go down the same way. They have different ideas of how they achieve the same goal.
Those are my thoughts. What do you think?
But yeah, so this is my 3rd time watching it, and I feel like this is just like such a like a near perfect movie of that tackles again a heavy subject matter in such a way that can be entertaining and comedic, but also very sad and heartbreaking, and also the sort of artistic, the creative ways that he wrote the story, and it's portrayed through like Radio Raheem and his sort of his like love and hate message, where like the camera shifts into Mookie's perspective, and he's like talking to you now about like this idea of love and hate, telling you like a small story. It kind of reminded me of like seeing like Adam Sandler's Love Knuckles in Punch Drunk Love when he punches the wall.
Oh yeah,
and
Knuckles.
And I want some Love Knuckles. And I feel like Radio Raheem represents something in this movie that is a little bit more like than just himself. Like he has like this sort of like I don't know, like a godlike status, but because like he's like alone throughout the whole movie, and it's like everybody just knows him because he is Radio Raheem and he has the radio, and he just walks around blasting music, and it's just kind of like just arriving in different people's lives at certain points and doing the sort of boombox off with the Mexicans, I guess, the Hispanics,
Puerto Ricans.
Yeah.
Mexicans are a West Coast thing.
Oh, okay. True. But yeah, I loved it when I first watched it. I loved it when I watched it this for the second time, and I watched it. I loved it again. So yeah, this is like a really well put together movie, and like seeing the first conflict when Bugging Out's eating pizza, and he's like, you put more cheese on it. He's like, extra cheese $2, and then he's like putting more Parmesan, and he's like, all right, that's enough.
Yeah.
He's like, what can I do here?
Yeah.
And then
he's just a grumpy old shopkeep.
Yeah, and then the whole like, why don't you have any brothers on the wall? And then it's like you understand both points and you understand both perspectives.
Yeah,
because he's like, well, most of your customers are black, are like we're the ones who are giving you the money, but at the same time, it's like, well, he can do whatever he wants with his money. He can do whatever he wants with the space that he owns, or is leasing or whatever. So it's like a double-edged sword of doing the right thing. I
also like how he's not. I mean, people keep trying to get him to get out of the neighborhood, and he's like, "No, I like it here. I like my customers."
Yeah,
he's like legitimately empathetic towards them, and he's just not. When they push his buttons, he flies off the fucking handle.
Yeah, he loses it pretty quickly.
Yeah,
and just like the another sort of artistic sequence is when like each person from each race is just talking to the camera
all
and
the
just
slurs,
like giving all of the slurs to one specific one, and it's really just like it's like a movie that talks about hate but is really about love and like getting along with each other, but it's presented in like a way it's like everybody here hates each other.
Yeah,
and is it just because of their race, or is it because of them, the people themselves? And they just happen to be those races.
Yeah.
A collection of different races. And yeah, I think it's just all wrapped up very, very nicely. And it's met with a very tragic ending. But it's like something like that. I mean, that's still like fucking happens today. Like,
yeah, it still does.
In the last 5 years, there's been plenty of real life situations that have not changed. So nothing has changed since 1989, and probably the 1960s as well.
I think the only difference is that now, with the prevalence of 24-hour news and social media, and everybody's got a camera in their pocket, the exposure is much more. It's a lot harder to run from it. What happens once the exposure happens? That's to be debated whether there's enough happening or not. But police officers are now going to jail for murder.
There's more accountability.
Yeah, Derek Chauvin is in prison for killing.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's a fucking frustrating. The whole thing is frustrating, and I think Are you done?
Yeah.
Okay. Again, like I said earlier, I applaud Spike Lee for just not making it A to B, serving it up on a platter to you and telling you how to feel, because it's just too much for that. You can't. There is no right way to feel about this. It's a frustrating, terrible, disastrous, unfair, sad, angering reality of life that, you know, people are being killed unjustly in a country that's supposed to be all about fairness and equality and opportunity and blah 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 and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
For what? What is it? Is it because of racism? Is it because of like a class warfare thing? Power, those with power, those without power, those who have money and those who don't have money. It's like I don't know what any of it is, but I tend to believe that most of the like systematic racism that's built into the systems is legit. There's it may not be everywhere, but it's a huge portion of the reality for people of color that are they're put in that system, and just because of this, you're given a harsher sentence or looked upon unfairly. But I think the another broad overarching thing that people don't talk about is from like the 1% versus the rest of us. You know, there is the 1%, and there's a few that are okay, that'll speak out and say, yeah, give me more taxes, give me this, give me that. I don't deserve all the money that I've had. I've been paid into the system or whatever. But then majority of them are just like, I want to hold on to this power and this money as much as I fucking humanly can.
Yeah.
And game the system as much as possible, and I'm going to keep it quiet so that it stays the same and everybody else stays out of power, because that means I have less power if you have power. So, I don't know. I just love Spike Lee for doing that. What a fantastic movie this is.
Yeah, it's Tyler. Who knows if he even watched it?
Well, he usually watches it the morning of, so I guess no.
Yeah.
Sprinklers.
Yeah.
I did love this movie. I didn't love this movie.
I guess there's some things I did want to mention that I like remembered from my class.
Oh, okay, cool, please.
So in the end, when the riot's happening and there's that chanting going on.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And at first, it's like you think they're saying power to the people, right? It sounds like saying power to the people, power to the people. What they're really saying is Howard Beach. And the movie was written because of Spike Lee was inspired to write this movie, was known after an event known as the Howard Beach incident. It happened in 1986, which was a mob of 12 angry white men chased down and beat 3 black men who had just left a pizzeria in the predominantly Italian-American community. And
it was predominantly the Italian-American community?
Yes.
Okay.
During the pursuit, the mob forced one of their victims, Michael Griffith, to run onto the Belt Parkway, where he was hit by a car and killed. And so that was very much, I mean, I wouldn't say it's exactly similar, but like it's a pizzeria and Italian-American.
Yeah,
and
definitely heavily inspired.
Happened in the 80s before this movie was made. There was a protest that was led by the Reverend Al Sharpton and the call for African Americans to boycott white-owned pizzerias.
Oh, wow.
An act that inspired the scene in which Buggin' Out instigates a boycott of Sal's.
Yeah, but Buggin' Out's boycotting him for not having pictures on the wall. The other one's boycotting him because of a lynching.
I mean, well, imagine if they put it out, if they put that in the movie, like that would be a way heavier of a movie.
I know. Buggin' Out's just, he still just gets under my skin. Just
bugs you out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I loved his character.
It was so fun to watch.
Yeah, and especially the Giancarlo Esposito being that role, and just like his look is so great.
I want to see more haircuts like that in the modern day.
Yeah.
It's so fun. Even Mookie's haircut's great.
Yeah. Robert De Niro was initially, was envisioned for the role of Sal.
Really?
Originally.
That's cool.
And Spike Lee and De Niro had met the night after the Howard Beach incident. They discussed racism and how the animosity between black and Italian communities had escalated. Lee liked the idea of what it would mean for the Italian Americans to see the iconic De Niro in a role that was sympathetic to black people. De Niro turned it down, feeling that he'd performed roles like Sal and didn't want to repeat them. This is all on Criterion, by the way. All these like fun facts about.
Oh, okay, cool.
Spike Lee and Do the Right Thing specifically.
I put it out to my Twitter page, just to say, what people's thoughts were. Didn't get a ton of responses, but I got a few interesting ones. Carlo from the Movie Loot says, powerful film. I watched it back in the 90s and I liked it, but I didn't really appreciate it. I watched it last year and man, did it hit hard. So he gives it 4.5 stars. I don't think I would appreciate this as a youngster.
No, I don't think I would get it.
It would be like an entertaining movie, and like the quick cutting style and the really kind of in-your-face camera movements and fisheye in some scenes and stuff would be, I think it would catch my eye. And then the blatant racial epithets being like shouted directly at the camera, I think would probably shock me. But I don't think it wouldn't make much of an impact. This was pretty impactful to me now, so I agree with that.
Yeah, I forgot to bring up Smiley.
Which one's Smiley?
You know Smiley. Smiley.
Oh, Smiley. Yes. Yes, the special needs gentleman.
The perhaps in poor taste nowadays.
Yeah.
But at the same time, though, this says here that the actor Roger Gunvar Smith was not initially cast in the film, but every day during production, he'd asked Lee to find a place for him in the story. Lee told him to come up with some ideas, and he tried to work him into the film. So Smith created the character of Smiley, a young man with a stutter who sells pictures of Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X. According to Lee, it was the actor's idea to put a photo of the two civil rights heroes on the wall at Sal's in the scene where the pizzeria burns.
I think he has more than a stutter in this.
I think he tried to play, maybe if he was intending just the stutter, he played it a little too much.
He's like hobbling through the neighborhood.
Yeah.
It's like one step removed from
It's
music.
different. Yeah, he definitely did have more than a stutter.
Yeah.
Because he just wasn't understanding like the social aspects. Like they kept on trying to tell him to leave, and he kept on trying to give him a picture of. So it's like
moaning at them.
It was like he was like stunted at growth, but like that portrayal of someone with, it was like Simple Jack.
Oh, yeah, it was really rough. I'm like, okay, this guy with this character isn't here for a lot.
Yeah.
And then he keeps coming back all the time. You're like, oh, come on, guy.
And now knowing that he like kept on asking to be in more of the movie.
Spike Lee's like, yeah, whatever you want. Just throw it in there. Just ham it up.
But yeah, it's like, I know it was like the late 80s, and our concept of portraying people of that community is not up to the same standards it is now.
Yeah.
But at the same time, nobody actually acts like that. Like nobody actually like there, like Deanna, my wife, works essentially in that industry.
Yeah. And
not once has come in contact with somebody who is
on that level. It's out there. I mean, it's. I think the gross stereotypes exist from somewhere. That's created somewhere. There's certain physical disabilities mixed with maybe other mental disabilities that turn into these gross stereotypes. But I don't know. I didn't like it.
It was a little rough.
It didn't like knock the movie down a peg or anything. I just like, okay, that this was in what, 83?
Yeah. No, the movie?
Yeah.
89. Yeah.
I got a couple more comments on our request. At Contrarian Prime from Julio from the Contrarians podcast says, "Buckle up, Buttercup. It's probably his best." And as I said, I had never seen it before, and yeah, it was heavy. And then at Seth Vargas from Movie Friends podcast says, "An epic within a few blocks, a great American story within a few hours." That's a pretty great synopsis.
Yeah.
An epic within a few blocks, a great American story within a few hours. Like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great.
I also had one line quote, one line that really made me laugh. I wanted to play real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Do I have it here? There it is. So this is when the mayor, who is basically just the stumbling drunk,
yeah,
the sage, old timer of the neighborhood who constantly is dropping. He's a guy that tells him to do the right
philosophy and morals and stuff like that.
Yeah,
advice.
He's dropping that, but he's also stumbling around in an old dirty suit looking for money to buy booze. And then he he's talking to his sister mother, who's an older woman who sits in a window just kind of watching what happens around her, and this is their interaction.
The evil eye doesn't work on me.
Mother, sister, you've been talking about me for 18 years. What have I ever done to you?
You a drunk fool.
Besides that.
I just love that. You're a drunk fool. Yeah, besides that. What else?
I'm aware.
Yeah. So what? What's your point?
Yeah, those two actors are husband and wife in real life.
Real shit. That's cool.
Yeah. And then he died in 2004, I believe.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah. The Fight the Power, the song Fight the Power, was not the first song Public Enemy submitted as the anthem for this movie, apparently. Spike Lee wanted to riff off the gospel classic Lift Every Voice and Sing. The group sent in a song that Lee ended up rejecting, and then they came up with Fight the Power, which shares its title with an Isley Brothers hit. Isley Brothers?
Yeah.
Though that tune was written in 1975, Public Enemy frontman Chuck D says its lyrics, including the phrase, all the bullshit going down, inspired their own song.
I like the lyrics of that. I've never sat down and like listened to the lyrics of that song. Like it's like ever present. I heard it a billion times.
Yeah.
But and I liked the intro too. It's just Rosie Perez dancing.
Oh, the movie.
Punch dancing, whatever. And then that song, they let it play all the way through.
Yeah.
It's like, great. I love it. Play the whole song. Get a tone for the movie. Get a tone for the
I mean, it even
the themes.
sets up the movie to be like a play.
It does,
because it's on a stage and you see the houses or the brownstones or whatever in the back.
Mm-hmm.
That interaction with the Celtics, the bicyclist, and like who told you to move in here? Who told you to buy a brownstone in my neighborhood?
Who told you to step on my shoes? Who told you to walk on my side of the street?
Why don't you go back to Massachusetts? I was born in Brooklyn, and just like
I feel like that speaking that fast too, like Giancarlo Esposito. That's impressively quick, his cadence.
Yeah.
Spike Lee takes his time when he's with his line deliveries.
Yeah.
And Giancarlo is just
rapid fire.
Fucking going. I'm like, man, what a skill that guy has.
I know. So back to the chokehold at the end of the movie.
Oh yeah.
That was. I mean, it's like, it was inspired by one specific instance, and it's actually the person who was killed is actually name dropped in that scene. In 2014, Eric Garner was killed by a policeman. He used a chokehold to subdue him, and then Lee, after that, posted a video in which he intercut Radio Raheem's death with Eric Garner's. But the use of that chokehold in the movie was actually inspired by another case of police brutality, in which a graffiti artist named Michael Stewart was killed by the cops in '83. And in that scene, there's someone in the crowd saying, "They did it again, just like Michael Stewart."
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, and I think he even says more than that too. He's like, they did that and he died. And it was from like Martin Lawrence's group of guys who said it. Yeah, it's so crazy how many like real life references that he's actually using, and not just like sort of kind of using a general reference of the world of society, but it's like these are all sort of specific events that happened. But can also, I guess you can also just watch the movie and it's like all of this is still happening in some way or another today in many different forms. So it's like it's very timeless, unfortunately.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a fucking shame that it's timeless, but it is.
Why can't it just have died like back then, and we think we would have moved on by now?
Hey guys, haven't you seen Do the Right Thing? Stop that.
Yeah,
stop that, sir.
Do the right thing. Have you done the right thing yet?
Yeah.
Tyler, do the right thing.
Yeah, do the right thing. That's it. That's it.
That's it.
I feel like it sounds glib, like an oversimplification of,
a solution to a complex problem.
Yeah, but really, when you're looking, it's like, is this the right thing to do? Am I being an asshole right now? Is this? Am I a piece of shit for doing this?
Yeah.
Then don't do that. Don't do that thing. Do something else that makes you not a piece of shit.
Yeah. Yeah. It's such a simple ideology. Obviously, some people have different ideas of what the right thing is.
Well, yeah, we talk about that at work. It's one of our like core tenets for our company is do the right thing. And a lot of times, I mean, it sounds so stupid, but I'm in a supervisory role at my company, and I work with multiple leaders, that are also supervisors, and they have other people underneath them. And sometimes someone will come to me with a question like, "Hey, what do you think I should do in this situation?" I'm like, "What's the right thing to do?" "Well, it's this." I'm like, "Then do that." That's it. I mean, don't overcomplicate it. Just do the right thing.
It's a very easy phrase to keep in the back of your head.
Yeah, if you think you have two options and one of them is the right thing to do and the other one sucks, the right thing to do is like, this is gonna suck, but it's the right thing to do. Like, do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it sucks, but just do the right thing. Shut up. Move on.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
some trivia in the 1990 Oscar ceremony. While announcing the Best Picture nominees, Kim Basinger caused some controversy when she ignored her scripted text and said, "We've got 5 great films here, and they're great for one reason, because they tell the truth. But there is one film missing from this list that deserves to be on it, because ironically, it might tell the biggest truth of all, and that's Do the Right Thing." And then Spike Lee would later thank her for it 29 years later. In 2019, on an episode of the podcast Unspooled, was she on that? Were they both on that?
Must have. Or maybe he just spoke out about it.
Ossie Davis and Ruby Dee DeMayer and Mother Sister were they were enemies in the movie, but they didn't end up being enemies by the end. Really, she was in her bed.
Yeah.
They were married, husband and wife in real life, frequently performed together until Davis's death in 2005.
There's also another family on set. Danny Aiello's son was the cop that did the
killing.
killing.
Yeah. I saw the same name. I was like, any relation?
Yeah, that's a very unique last name too.
Aiello. Spike Lee criticized several white critics for their perceived racist reviews in which they stated that the movie would incite anger and cause riots in the black population. And if this were to happen, the blood would be on Lee's hands. Lee defended his movie by stating that if white people can contain themselves from causing trouble after seeing movie violence in Arnold Schwarzenegger films, then so can black people. He would later praise Roger Ebert as one of the few white critics who understood the film's message of mutual understanding. I can imagine something like that being review bombed today.
Yeah, I was going to say, even today, something like this coming out would be sensational.
Good example, not a movie, music video from Childish Gambino. This is America.
Yeah.
When that released, all these fucking YouTube right-wing alt-right trolls are like, well, black people actually don't have it that bad, because
he's a millionaire trying to tell you that the government's got his foot on your neck.
I see he forgot to mention this specific crime that was between 2 black people and not one white person was involved.
Yeah.
So it's like, it doesn't matter. It's an unfortunate society in which it doesn't matter. A message will come from a person of color's artistry, an artistic piece, something that is delivering a message. That's like, this is the world that we live in. This is our real life. And then white people will just be like, I don't think that's true.
Well, you know what? The energy that kind of exudes. Remember in Place Beyond the Pines when Bradley Cooper brings the corruption to his, I think it's Bruce Greenwood, to Chief.
Yeah.
And before he becomes the hero, he brings it to him and he's like, "Hey, this is going on. I got this fucking guys,
these corrupt cops
over here," and he's like, "Why you bring this to me?
Why are you telling me?
Why are you telling me this? Now I got to do something about it." It's almost like the anger from a certain group of the people who see a movie like this or that music video and they just go, "Yeah, we know that things are fucked up, but you don't have to like tell it. We can put it in our faces or anything."
I don't want to be reminded.
I know. Yeah, I'm mad because you're reminding me of just how shitty things are, and maybe I'm a part of the problem, or maybe I should give a fuck more.
Yeah, and it's
I don't know.
It's just this movie has transcended lots of things. I mean, it's just like that's the nature of our world, unfortunately. Spike Lee wrote this script in 2 weeks, apparently.
Yeah,
according to this.
Did you see that bit about Rosie Perez in the nude scene?
Oh no!
So this is kind of sad.
Sad.
Yeah, according to Rosie Perez, she performed her first nude scene in this. This was her first movie ever, anyway. So. But she didn't have her face shown, but she felt like she was exploited and she was crying during filming. She mentioned in interviews for years that she was mad at Spike Lee for having to perform naked. And later on, she forgave him and even appeared in nude in other movies. But at that age, she felt like she was coerced into it.
Really?
Yeah.
What? Is it like thank God for knees, thank God for lips?
Yeah.
Is that scene?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it just cuts to the chest down, like neck down.
Mm-mm.
Shocking. Because you're like, oh, they're cutting around it. They're not showing a whole lot. And then
Tits.
boom, boom, boobs. 2 boobs right here, ice cubes. So
yeah, if it was her first movie and her first role in this movie that got this much attention, I suppose I could see, I could see how she might feel that way.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I get it,
especially as a first time.
Yeah, you're
actress.
You get your break, and you're like, oh, by the way, they got this nude scene.
All right, take your shirt off.
Take it or leave it. Man, really? Can't we just cut around it? No. This is very important for the plot. Got to see those nipples.
Let me see the nipples. And we're gonna bring in an ice cube.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's kind of weird, like, and I'm the director, and I'm also starring in it, and I'm gonna be.
Yeah. Well, it's like Tarantino doing the foot scene with Selma Hayek in Dusk Till Dawn,
or Tommy Wiseau directing his own.
Oh, yeah. Take me, Lisa.
Oh, yeah. Apparently, Matt Dillon was Spike Lee's first choice for the role of Pino, played by Turturro, or is it the brother Dedson?
I don't know, but that guy plays one of the Goombas from Super Mario Brothers.
Yes, he does.
Him and Fisher Stevens.
He's also the valet in Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yes, he is. I'll take very good care of it, sir.
Please.
Yeah, yeah, so funny.
Yeah. Anything else about this movie, specific scenes? There's a lot of scenes in this movie.
There's so many good bits.
Yeah, the Korean market.
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about the shop owner. They're angry at him because he's opening the shop and in their neighborhood. So it's like just as much as they're looking for racial sympathy or racial understanding from other people, they're dishing it out to the Korean guy.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of offensive when that old guy was told that Korean guy to open his eyes.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean,
I was like, come on, bro.
It's all racism.
Open your eyes, motherfucker.
Yeah, there's
come on, man.
And then at the same moment, like if it was like a different timeline and something happened just slightly different, if Giancarlo's character Bugging Out, sorry, if Bugging Out went on this vendetta against the shop owner instead, maybe the shop owner would had his building trashed.
Oh, the market, yeah,
the market gets trashed because he went in there and made a stink, and he hit him upside the head with the broom, and then broke his whatever, and the cops got called. And instead of taking the pizzeria out, they took out the shop out.
Yeah,
it's like it literally could have been that close to destruction.
Yeah, and they're the only two businesses really that are shown in the movie that could be susceptible to damage and destruction. It's not like Sam Jackson's radio station would be another one. He was kind of like the omniscient. Power here.
I like the idea that you said earlier about Radio Raheem being like a godlike figure floating around. Maybe that's the idea of and he's very specific. He's only playing Public Enemy. That's all he likes. He's like, this is me in my music.
Yeah.
And him going into different areas and how they react to him. Maybe that's like an allegory for how people react to different, a different race invading their area, quote unquote.
Different cultures.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you came in with your boom bap music, the jungle music they call it.
Yeah.
And it's like, now you got to turn that shit off. It's like, okay, but if you're coming into a quiet restaurant and the music's cranked all the way up, I don't care if it's Luciano Pavarotti, or music you don't like or whatever. It's like, just
turn it down.
Turn it down.
Yeah.
We would not be silenced though.
Easily John Turturro's least funny role.
Between this and Secret Window.
Yeah. And he was still kind of funny in it, but not overly funny.
Have you seen Barton Fink?
Oh, no.
Oh, that's a fun one. Then the other thing, too, I just wanted to say before we wrap up is there's a lot of references in this to old classic movies, and it just shows how much of a cinephile Spike Lee really is, like a true movie lover. The intro was a takeoff from Bye Bye Birdie. And I think there's another classic movie that I heard that they were referencing in that. where is it? Bye Bye Birdie and Margaret. It's the two movies. Basically mirror that. And then also the love and hate rings that he wears. He says that speech is an homage to the speech that Robert Mitchum's character of the preacher gives in The Night of the Hunter. And he's got love and hate tattooed on his fingers.
Oh, okay.
On his knuckles. And he says that's Spike Lee's favorite movie. And it's like, it's really cool. I like to see that, just like we talked to Isaac Florentine earlier. It's like he's a diehard martial arts fan and he makes martial arts movies. It shows. The love shows. In this, Spike Lee is referencing these classic cinematic movies or these cinematic masterpieces and putting it into this and making it something totally different for a different generation and telling a message that maybe hasn't been told to that generation. So
yeah, it's cool how directors and artists can include like homages to previous artist works that they've like looked up to in a way that is like not obviously just copying somebody.
But they could just put it into an AI prompt and make the movie instead.
I guess I could. I'm gonna do that. Make me do the right. Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing now with ducks or something with the bird, with species of birds.
Yeah, I was gonna say making dogs and cats instead of black and white people. It's Zootopia, but it's Do the Right Thing. All right, internet, you perverts that are using AI, get on it.
Do your thing.
And we will promptly ignore it.
And then one last little trivia: the Sweet Dick Willie, those three guys, I think all of their scenes were improvised.
Oh. That's so funny.
They're all just improv.
I love their bits. Them just talking shit to each other the whole movie. I love it.
Who would call you Sweet Dick Willie? How'd you get a name like that?
Yeah.
But yeah, let's throw some grades on this.
This is either an A or an A plus. I'm gonna give it an A. Yeah, I'm gonna give this an A. Easy A. Thought-provoking, entertaining, shocking at times. No easy way out. It's not spoon-fed to you, and it looks fantastic on top of it.
Yeah,
the themes are great. The soundtrack's great. The acting's great. I don't think I got one. The one thing that detracted me a little bit about the whole thing, besides some of like the production stuff, like Smiley and Rosie Perez basically being forced into doing a nude scene. Besides those, because it's more production stuff. There's a number of times where characters look directly at the camera when you're not supposed to.
Oh, really?
There's scenes where they're supposed to talk directly to the camera, and then they're like, I'm talking to this guy over here, and then I keep
their eyes dart,
glancing at the camera, and then back again. It's happened probably 5 or 6 times.
Really?
Yeah.
I noticed that.
After like the second time, I'm like, this seems to be a theme.
Was that right?
Yeah. Is this supposed to happen? And then I was like, nah, this just fits out of it. So
yeah,
I still think this is a damn near perfect movie and one that's important, I think, for people to watch.
Yeah, definitely. I like easy agree with the A. Really close to an A plus. Like I don't even know.
Me too.
I'm not even, maybe just remove Smiley and be an A plus.
There you go. Yeah.
I don't know, but I don't know what this movie could do or add or to make it that for me. But yeah, it is an A, like a very, very high A. It looks great. I mean, everything you said, acting and the writing. I love the writing and the dialogue. Dialogue was very quick and not like clever, but like very just like fast paced and snappy. I love the cinematography in this. There's a lot of like Dutch angles, type shots, where like looking down on Sal from Radio Raheem's perspective, and then looking back at both of them, and Bugging Out and Radio Raheem, and a lot of interesting sort of camera movements and compositions, and lighting, like lighting in the apartments.
That was really nice.
A lot of use of like shadows and stuff. And just like the very specific references for things for real life situations that happened prior to this that inspired this movie. But it's like obviously the violence and everything is cut down to just words, and the situations and the stakes are a little bit lower than life or death. But then obviously go back up to that level. But yeah, just very important still, I think, very timeless in that way. And required viewing.
Yeah,
I think
I call it required viewing. I'm kind of mad that I took this long for me to watch it. To be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I only watched it because I had to. I don't even know if I even had heard about it before then. Maybe I did. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, so that's Do the Right Thing. A's all around. Tyler?
So...
I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Sorry. Like, I don't know what to say.
Well, do better.
Do the right thing.
Yeah. So yeah, that Do the Right Thing, and that's Off the Wheel. And now it's time for The Wheel.
1 wheel, 8 slots, 3 hosts. This is The Wheel of Destiny.
All right, Do the Right Thing off the wheel. Joseph, what are you going to replace it with?
I was thinking about this, kind of going through my watch list, and nothing really like piqued my interest in terms of a movie I want to talk about on a podcast in depth.
Okay.
But there's one movie that I've never seen that has been mentioned to me once or twice, and I think it's been mentioned at least a couple times on this very show.
Oh, okay.
Very briefly. This is a movie streaming on Amazon Prime and Pluto TV, and this is gonna be Tiptoes.
Oh boy, yes! Cannot wait.
Starring Matthew McConaughey, Gary Oldman, Patricia Arquette, Kate Beckinsale, Peter Dinklage, Ed Gale, David Alan Grier,
Dak again,
and a bunch of other people. Directed by Matthew Bright, and it's Gary Oldman playing a little person.
They literally put his shoes on his knees.
Yeah.
He's walking on his knees.
Yeah. So
and they have Peter Dinklage is in the movie.
Yeah, and Russ Cole.
I can't wait for this.
But yeah, so this
Cool,
is
Tiptoes.
Yeah, this was my second in a row movie, so I am banished for a week.
Banned.
Tyler's too because he's not here.
Yeah. Do you want to just like? So we got these 2 streaming or Patreon picks. It's been a while since we did a Patreon pick. You want to just basically cut the wheel down the middle?
What was the last one we did? Didn't we do one? I think we did one semi recently.
Well, it's been off the wheel for a while. Let's see here.
The Core. That was you.
That was me. Let's see here. American History X.
Kentucky Fried Movie.
Kentucky Fried Movie.
That was the last one.
I guess it was pretty recent. That's okay. All right. Well, let's see what happens. I like to get the Patreon members picks on there, and I got Grizzly Man's been on there for a while. I want Dal to be proud of us.
Come on, Dal, be proud.
This is what we're gonna watch next week. I didn't recap the wheel, but that's all right.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Grizzly Man! Woo! Nice. What a mitzvah. Look at that.
Very cool. I can't believe that happened.
Yeah, we'll do the Tyler. I can't believe it. Cool. Close enough.
Grizzly Man, a documentary. I don't think we've ever reviewed a documentary.
I think you're right. I think it is the first one from our old pal Werner.
Our friend Werner, director of Bad Lieutenant, Protocol New Orleans.
Right, Grizzly Man. Just watch. Let's see where this is at. Okay, this is streaming on a bunch of free places. Roku, Hoopla, Tubi, Canopy, Pluto, and Plex. Pretty much all the freebies. Gravy. This is from the year of our Lord, 2005. Grizzly Man, starring...
One Grizzly Man.
Yeah. Timothy and Treadwell as from archival footage.
And some bears.
And then a bunch of bears, yeah. And then Werner Herzog as narrating. Yeah, this is about
this man went to the woods to hang out with some bears. And not the good kind.
Yeah. Let's see if there's a synopsis on here. Werner Herzog's documentary film about the Grizzly Man, Timothy Treadwell, and what the 13 summers in a national park in Alaska were like in one man's attempt to protect the grizzly bears. The film is full of unique images and a look into the spirit of a man who sacrificed himself for nature. 13 summers.
13 years, huh?
That's wild.
I don't want people to talk to me like that. Like, how long ago was that? 13 winters ago. Just say years.
Well, I guess he only has to spend the summer there because they hibernate for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Or something. All right, I guess we'll find out.
Cool.
All right. You got anything else, Joseph?
No.
What's our runtime right now? Where are we at?
We're at 1 hour and 2 minutes.
How about 1 hour and 2 minutes? Perfect. So before we go, I wanted to show something here.
We're going to do a little thing here.
So here is a gigantic stack of physical media.
Gigantic?
It's pretty thick.
Two handfuls of...
I'm having a hard time. I can't hold it with one hand.
Of media.
So we got The Big Lebowski on 4K, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse on 4K, Army of Darkness, Steelbook. That's that fun, real fun Steelbook. I love the artwork on that. Dune Part 2 4K, The Watchmen Ultimate Cut 4K, The Complete Story, Batman Begins on Blu-ray, 2-movie collection, Annihilation and Arrival on Blu-ray, Godzilla vs. Kong 4K, and then the Planet of the Apes trilogy, the more recent one, on Blu-ray, the entire set. And along with those, we have these fun grab bags. It's got 3 DVDs in the bag that we don't know what's in them. I don't know what's in them. They're from our local physical media hub called The Cave in Sacramento. Mm-hmm. And these are great. They're just like I bought them before. I got A Time to Kill, Gremlins, and Charlie's Angels
Nice.
on DVD. I think I talked about it on the show.
In standard def.
It was standard def, and A Time to Kill, I had to pull the DVD out halfway through and flip it over.
Oh.
Like these are old discs.
Is it that long of a movie?
No.
Oh.
It was the cheapest CD-R they could find to burn it onto. So anyways, we're going to be giving away some of these discs, and you basically will be able to choose. If you're a winner, you can choose which one of these you want to get.
Is it going to be, I'm just asking, because I don't know either.
Yeah.
You can pick one of those, like you know what you're getting, or you pick one of those and you don't know what you're getting.
No, a winner gets one of the good media.
Oh, okay.
And then, if you want one of the grab bags too, that's fine. I'll throw one in there too, but these are for runners up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if you get pulled, and the logistics of it are yet to be seen yet.
What do you have to do to win? I don't know.
Well, I was going to say the only thing you're going to have to do is essentially subscribe to us on YouTube, subscribe to us, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Facebook, on the Facebook page. Basically, just follow us on the socials, and then at some point we're going to basically put a call out to action. Share this last episode with a friend or something like that. And it's not going to be one drawing. There's going to be many, many drawings. Because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I know I have one more on the way that I'm going to be adding to this stack, Late Night with the Devil. And that is going to be...
ordering it just to give it away?
More or less. It's an opportunity to get to, essentially.
I may or may not have movies of my own that I could donate to the cause.
Yeah.
That I don't need anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And these are either... opened, like this one still has the digital disc, the digital code. Don't look what the code is, but it still has the digital code in there. It's Big Lebowski 4K plus HD 4 Blu-ray plus digital code. And it's like these are fun movies, and basically the whole point of it is we want you guys to share the YouTube channel with friends, and essentially if you do that for us, we'll have to figure out a way how to track that. You'll go into a pool. We'll be able to pull your name from the pool and then give away one of these discs. That's it. So share with a friend, and I'll put a call to action out to our Twitter page, to our Facebook page. It'll be all encompassing, and maybe even in the YouTube. They have like the community posts or whatever. That's just like on YouTube. You can just post a picture or a text post or whatever.
Yeah.
So we'll announce it once we actually figure out the logistics of it, but it'll probably be next week and then many weeks after that, running continually, because we want to get the subscriber count up, and we need you guys to do that. So that'll be something fun to do. And
cool.
That's it.
Yeah. You can win some movies. You can win Batman Begins on Blu-ray.
Yeah, that's right. Or Annihilation and Arrival on Blu-ray, 2-disc set. What a great combo. Boy. All right, so thank you to our cool-ass yardities over on Patreon. That's Javier, Heather, Michael, Chris, and I don't have the list in front of me.
And...
hold on a second.
Angry Otter. We already said that.
Angry Otter's Michael.
Yeah.
I use his name.
I think Pete, regarding your question, Angry Otter, Pete has seen To Wong Fu.
Oh, To Wong Fu. Thanks for everything, Julie Newmar. Never heard of it. I love that movie, by the way. Okay, let's try this one more time. Thank you to our cool-ass yard duties over on Patreon. That's Javier, Heather, Michael, Steven, and Chris. I was missing Steven. Sorry, buddy. If you want to support us, you could do so at patreon.com/middleclassfilmclass, or more specifically, share the YouTube channel. Share the episodes, share the shorts, share the actual link. Just tell people, hey, I love this show. You'll probably love it too. Please go subscribe. It costs you nothing. That is a big way to help us too. Until next time. Thank you for joining us today as we gab and chatter earlier in the episode or in the week. And as we review Do the Right Thing, Spike Lee epic, American epic, in a few blocks. Follow us next week as we review Grizzly Man from listener Dal. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/MCFC podcast, and send us an email, mcfcpodcast@gmail.com.
And follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Middle Class Film Class, and on Twitter at Podcast MCFC, and subscribe and like and comment to our YouTube channel, Middle Class Film Class.
That's right.
Please.
Thanks for everybody in the chat. We'll talk to you later.
Later.